Alright, here we go. One badge left to get, but first... Team Plasma, I suppose. Well, first getting out of this gym, and I do enjoy this little ice slide here. Looping around, nice touch. Of course, we'll see some more fun use of environments very soon. Let me just check on the team. There were a bunch of evolutions and stuff in the last episode. We got Red Deer, the Cobalion, Steinbach, the Swanna, Ronda, the Superior, now with Coil, Charlottetown, the Crocodile, Moncton, the Archeops, and Moosejaw, the Chandelure. What do I want? I probably don't want Red Deer leading. Red Deer is my best Pokemon for the next gym, being a Steel type and a Dragon gym in a pre-Fairy generation, but... Like I was saying before, I think I want to train Moncton because I'm probably never giving the experience share to Moncton because Moncton is a lot better without an item on account of knowing acrobatics. So I'll put Moncton in front of the party again. Where is the experience share right now? It's on Steinbach. That's good. Steinbach is the lowest level member of the team. Alright, let's go. Training. Black, I've been talking with Bianca and I'm wondering, since we left November Town, has something about me changed? I would say so, Sharon, and I would say that it's for the best because you were kind of rigid and set in your views earlier. Thinking about what I want to do, thinking about what I should do, it felt like there was nothing. Have I really become stronger, or is it just my Pokemon that have? I don't know anymore. Aw. He's at the tough part in the journey of self-discovery. It'll be okay. Hey, cheer up, Sharon. Isn't it nice to see everyone? Black, know what? This time I'll go to the Pokemon fan club. I'm really searching for what I want to do and what I can do. See, Bianca is comfier in that sort of discomfort. I didn't mean for that to sound silly like that. She's more comfortable dealing with uncertainty and trying to figure out who she is because she's been doing that all along. Well, Charon thought he knew and now he doesn't. But of course, Charon is, as always, chasing ideals. He wants to be the strongest trainer. Bianca has written that off for herself. So, I mean... There are pros and cons to both their paths, but ultimately they both learn and grow over time. Anyway, Bryson wanders out. He faces my friends, and for no apparent reason, he goes, "Who are you?" That's pretty intense. Who? Us? I'm Bianca, and this is Charon. No, he doesn't mean them. I know you were there. Why don't you show yourselves? And here they are. Bryson's not messing around. Very direct, very to the point, and not going to be fooled by... these guys lurking, ... Impressive, gym leader of Visurus City. We, the Shadow Triad, are beings of shadows. Beings of the shadows. Sure, dude. We, the Shadow Triad, are beings of the shadows, and not easily noticed. Our mission was to speak only with Black, but so be it. Getsus has a message for you. Come to Dragon Spiral Tower. It is there that our Lord N waits for you. Now our mission is complete. The Shadow Triad are such a weird group. I mean, obviously they fill some functions in the story, but they're just a weird fit with the rest of Team Plasma's vibe, you know? But then I guess Getsus is a weird fit with the vibe that he tries to manufacture for Team Plasma, and these guys work for Getsus, so it does all kind of fit together. Getsus is a bit of an edgelord himself, huh? Dragon Spiral Tower, what's going on? Hey, tell me! And they're out of here. I kind of suspect Bryson could chase them down if he wanted, although I think part of his backstory is his martial arts career was ended by an injury, so maybe he's not up to that kind of physical feat anymore. He does some hand-to-hand fighting in one of the animated things, right? Like Pokemon... is it Generations or whatever that other one was called? There's one that gives a slightly different take on the gym leaders helping out in the final confrontation with Team Plasma, and I think Bryson. I think Bryson throws hands in that. I might have to look for that after this. Now hang on. Young man, if you're here for a gym challenge, hang on for a bit. I've got to head to Dragon Spiral Tower. I'm going too. Dragon Spiral Tower is to the north of here, right? Say this about Charon. Motivated though he is to be the strongest trainer, and annoyed though he was with Clay strong-arming us into helping him deal with Team Plasma earlier, he's very serious about the whole Team Plasma thing now. Which I guess is a form of him finding something to work on besides just being the strongest trainer. He's looking out for the region. Taking interest in his society. Anyway. Whoa! Whoa! What should I do? And of course, Bianca's going to look for her own way to help as well. And it's going to come in handy. Bianca's going to come through. For now, I have to go to Dragon Spiral Tower. Okay, I'm heading north. But she doesn't know what to do just yet. I'd imagine she's kind of scared of Team Plasma too. I mean, they stole her Muna a while back. Probably not her favorite thing to have to face them. She's been focused on getting stronger since then so that she can take care of herself, but to just charge in and battle them? And Bianca's not the type to feel like she's up to it, but she can't think of what else to do right now. But, as with all these things, she'll get there. And she and Sharon will both find their own ways to contribute. Even as our player character here is the chosen hero or whatever. Because, I mean, that's Pokemon. People live different lives, find different things to do with themselves, approach problems in different ways. And they come together and complement each other in the end. We saw it in X and Y with Shauna, her puzzle solving and distraction skills. Kind of a recurring theme in the series, and I mean, I harp on it all the time in this playthrough. I don't need to keep going, but it's really good stuff. Different people with different worldviews, different priorities, different values, different beliefs, different skills, different talents, coming together and cooperating to solve shared problems. I mean, it's a natural fit for Pokemon because the relationship of people and Pokemon, which is explored so much in this game, also works that way. But it's really good stuff. I swear I was trying to go through that door, but it's the wrong door. I am recording on a different day from the last episode so that I can do that quiz nonsense again and see what happens. This is T-Plasma will have to wait. I've got these people to deal with first. Exciting. Team Plasma is not exciting, thrilling, zippy, or chilling, quite like this pep quiz is. Today's challenger is this person, as if they don't know me. Alright, what's the question today? What do you take to get clean? It's tremendously difficult. Okay, I need a hint. It's not a shower. Okay, that would have been my answer, so yeah, it kind of feels like it would be a trick question. That's not really a hint so much as kind of feels like it would be a trick question without it, because that was the answer I was thinking. And it does perfectly well match the question. They've just built into the rules that they won't accept that answer. I don't know where that answer would be in here anyway. What do you take to get clean? I'll check the lifestyle section. That's my best guess as to where an answer will be. Ah, and there's bath. If it's also not bath, that needed to be a hint too. Good, that is C-O-R-R-E-C-T. You go, yeah you do. Good hustle. And it's just another antidote. I thought the prize might be different. No such luck. But hey, I'm about to go to Dragon Spiral Tower. Very cool area. Gonna see some legendary stuff, literal legendary stuff happening at the top, but you know, can't say we haven't front-loaded the excitement in this episode because I don't know that that's gonna be exciting, thrilling, zippy, chilling like this was. I don't think I'm coming back tomorrow though. Got other stuff to do. Time to move on. Oh, Bianca shouldn't actually go yet, even while I was wasting time. Just following me. Makes sense, I guess. More useful if I'm in front. Oh, Black! And you must be Bianca. I'm the other Professor Juniper. The Professor Juniper who gave you the Pokedex is my daughter. Nice to meet you, Professor. Thanks to Professor Juniper, the other one, I got to go on a journey and start figuring out possibilities for my life. I'm very, very grateful to her. You know, the value of a journey is kind of a low-key theme in this game, too. I mean, both Bianca and Anne, and also Charon. With Bianca, it's fairly in your face because of the stuff with her father and how she needs to leave home and explore the world to find her place in it. Within, it's pretty in your face too, because journeying around talking to people on Pokemon is how he starts to learn differently from the very rigid view that gets us pushed on him in a very controlled environment. People talk about how Pokemon Black and White kind of explore the Pokemon is cockfighting criticism of the game and what the relationship really looks like in universe. But in a slightly quieter way, but not that quiet. These games also tackle the, so you're just sending 10, 11, 12-year-olds out into the world to live on their own? I mean, yeah, that's a crazy thing to do in real life. It's obviously a fantastical world. Also, the Black and White protagonists are, I think, canonically older than that. They're like 14-ish, maybe even 16. People assume every Pokemon protagonist is 10 because of Ash Ketchum, but some of them have canon or semi-canon ages that are a little bit higher than that. That's not really that important a distinction here. But, you know, even though it's not realistic at all, at least the game gives some justification to the journey in that if somebody gets stuck in one place for too long, we see how they can get kind of a warped view of the world. Be very sort of rigid in the views of the people immediately around them and the little tiny sliver of the world that they see immediately around them, like N being around only Pokemon that have been abused. And we get to see them broaden their horizons. It's, you know, again, insane stuff for actual real life, even 14-year-olds or 16-year-olds. 16 is... I mean, some people are on their own at 16, most are not. It's not really something we as a society want. Insane stuff down to 10, obviously, but, you know, once people are a little older, a little bit more independent. I'm not saying everyone has to go wander the world and explore. Most people, I think, don't do that, but there's something to be said, right, for seeing more places and broadening your horizons. And, I mean, the whole thing ties into not seeing the world in black and white and also just not getting stuck into a narrow viewpoint. But all that is through the lens of, you know, exploring the value that the journey has to Pokemon trainers in this universe, while at the same time we're also digging into the relationship between humans and Pokemon and what battling and capture and whatnot mean to them. These games sort of reflect on the premises of the series. I mean, it's not news, but they do that quite a bit. What's Cedric saying? Is that right? Grand. Actually, we should chat later. Black, Bianca, here's the situation. Some members of Team Plasma, quite a large group, broke through the tower wall and went inside. Bryson and that young man, I believe his name is Sharon, the two of them went after Team Plasma, but I was staring out the window the whole time I was doing that rant, and now I've got, like, my eyes affected by the light. Not ideal. It'll get better, I'm sure. Professor, what's the Dragon Spiral Tower? Ha! I guess you would be curious. Well, I'll explain briefly. I feel like Cedric should have a voice. Dragon Spiral Tower has stood tall since long before Unova was founded. On the top floor, the legendary Dragon-type Pokemon waits for a person pursuing ideals to appear. That's what it said. Are you going to go after Team Plasma like your friend did? It is admirable. It's of you to join the fight against Team Plasma, but it's risky too. Don't worry, Black and Charon are both really strong, and they've beaten Team Plasma before. But I'm not all that strong, actually. I admit it. I'm not very strong. So I was thinking it would be nice if maybe I could stay here and be your bodyguard. Why, thank you. That makes me feel safer. Well, Black, it's up to you. Climb the tower. This is all I can give you, but it might help you rest. An old ghetto? Alright. Still, what could Team... I have to decide whether I'm going to be consistent about this or not. Still, what could Team Plasma be after? I'm not sure that voice really fits him that much, because he seems like someone who, you know, goes out and gets his hands dirty and stuff. Good Bianca moment. Obviously a callback to Iris helping her out in Castelia City, so she's sort of applying what she's learned, but also she didn't really know what she could do to be helpful in this situation. She just went anyway, because it was the right thing to do, and she found something that is, you know, better suited to her strengths than just charging in like I'm gonna do. Black, please don't do anything crazy. Well, we'll see. Still, what could Team Plasma be after? Yeah. Hello. You don't want to fight? Earlier, the gym leader went up the tower. If you were lucky, you might witness a legend. I don't want to fight. I don't know where this bridge came from. I can still surf here. Interesting. I'm gonna use a repel because I want to get my encounter inside the tower. I actually didn't know I could still surf here. And yeah, how do you get into the tower when it looks inaccessible? Apparently Team Plasma's answer is just break it open, which... that works. I don't think I've ever gone over here before. Genuinely, I'm not kidding. I noticed last episode that I could surf up to what would be the entrance to the tower. And so I thought, huh, maybe I can still surf. Probably not. I think these ace trainers are going to be new to me. So I'm forgetting something, but I do not think I've been here before. I've improved my ability by fighting strong opponents, catching them, and overtaking them. You're strong. I'll overtake you at all costs. I know what she actually means by catching, but what, is she going to throw a Pokeball at me if I lose this battle? No, she just means catching up to my skill level, but... imagine if you were a fiend like that. I'm not just catching Pokemon, catching trainers too. Build an empire that way. Nobody gets us the idea. Oh, Darmanitan. I saw how scary this Pokemon was last time, but I didn't have an Archeops with me then. I didn't have Moncton with me at all. It was in the PC. Oh, actually, I think I'm going to want Strength in Dragon Spiral Tower. I don't think I'm going to need it, but I think I'm going to want it to get to everything. So I should leave someone behind. I should go back to the PC and leave someone behind, and I think it's going to be Red Deer. Even though Red Deer is the strongest Pokemon for the next gym. It's a legendary. It's, I think, at the highest level on my team. Maybe tied. I don't think it needs the experience right now. Should be fine in the next gym anyway. So I'll go do that after I finish exploring over here. No time to feel down after defeat. If moaning over a loss made me strong, I would bemoan a loss forever, though. I get it. You're dedicated to your craft. Do I actually want to go into this dark grass, or is it going to override my repel? Well, I don't have to go into it to fight this guy. I am an ace trainer. Basically, I am very strong. The Unova region will be shaken if I lose. Okay. Seems like something that an ace trainer could have said earlier. I've been running into them for a while. Also seems kind of a weird thing to say generally. I am an ace trainer. The meaning of that statement is that my strength is quite high. If I am defeated in battle, the effects will be felt throughout the Unova region. And he just sends out a Vanillish. And a Galvantula. First Galvantula of the run, I think, but not really region shaking. Perhaps it is now I who am an ace trainer. The meaning of my existence is being threatened right now? That escalated quickly. Someday your existence will shake this Unova region. My loss looks more impressive if I praise you as a hotshot. Okay. Yeah, let's get... no, nothing over there. Let's get far away from that guy. And I'm going to go deposit Red Deer in the PC so I can get Montreal the Boldore for strength purposes. I definitely thought to do that before I started recording, but then forgot. Should it really be someone's PC? Shouldn't I know that it's Amanita's PC by now? What's that about? Did I miss something? I think I must have. Well, if I did, it's probably in Stratton City, so that can wait for another time. Into the tower. Great area. Really something to experience the architecture of this place on a first playthrough back in like 2011. Not this floor so much, but certainly the others. We've got a Druddigan. Well, I have to catch it still, but the encounter is a Drudigan, just as I hoped. I could train this, but honestly, there's nobody I want to drop from my team for it, so... The sad fate of many a late-game encounter, I would be interested, but I'm just a little bit too set on the team I already have. Flame Body? Please? No Flame Body? Are you serious? 3 misses in a row. That's practically Aaron Zhang territory. Let's try to catch this before it knocks Moose Jaw out. Also, I'm gonna need a name for this. I know what it's called. Never mind. Yeah. Feels like many a playthrough. There's some late game Pokemon that I would be super interested in if I just hadn't already kind of settled into the team that I already have. There's not much to be done about it, right? It's good that some Pokemon be available late in the game. It keeps the encounters fresh and the region a bit more vibrant, but a little bit unfortunate for them. And Gen 5 has it especially bad, not for Drudigan because it doesn't evolve, but for things like Ponyard, Rufflet, Ponyard, Rufflet, Volibee in this game, Dino even, where their evolution levels are so crazy high that you can finish the whole playthrough without evolving them. And it's a little bit harder then to make good use of those Pokemon. That's not an issue for Drudigan, but yeah, under different circumstances, I might have added this to the team. It warms its body by absorbing sunlight with its wings. When its body temperature falls, it can no longer move. That's pretty neat, huh? Instead, of course, if this were still a Nuzlocke, I'd probably have an opening for a Drudigan. So maybe in the end, it's all Berg's fault. I think I'm good with blaming Berg. Anyway, we're just going to name this Victoria and send her to the PC. And it's Repel time. Tower shaking, what's that about? Is something going wild at the top of the tower? That might be like the moment where N unleashes Zekrom. Right? There's a big burst of energy and stuff, absorbs stuff into this, and then big boom. We're going to see that with Reshiram. But I also kind of like the maybe implication that N has to face Zekrom in battle and prove his worth, much like the player character does with Reshiram later. I don't know. Black! You can walk on the fallen columns, too. I'm going after Team Plasma. See, now we're starting to cook with the architecture of this place. This doesn't lead anywhere, but it's neat that I can do it. Maybe I don't want strength. This might be the only strength boulder in here. I don't remember. I think I'll be fine without bringing a red deer, so whatever, but I thought for sure that was an item. There's one over here. Not here? Huh. Yeah, I don't really want to take that shortcut anyway, because look at how cool this is. Up, down. Item over here on this pillar. And then, now we're really talking with this the architecture of this tower. They really played with layouts that could probably not be done in this series before. I mentioned the Distortion world in Platinum was kind of pushing some boundaries in its time. Big fan of Dragon Spiral Tower. Great little dungeon. Kind of mind-blowing in like 2011. Holds up pretty well. Over here, a little perspective shift, and then this way. Black, we'll hold them here. You go on ahead. This is nothing, but there sure are a lot of them. Oh, what a complete bother. Are you just going to say the same things, I think? Nope, I'm fine, but there's no time. Why do you make that extra push? What is the source of that strength? Alright, so this grunt is, maybe not giving him trouble, but taking a while to defeat. which is not necessarily what a trainer like Charen would expect from a goofball plasma grunt, I would imagine. No one! I won't let anyone get in our way. So this is the true strength of a gym leader. The strength. Could it be equal to the 7 sages? Hey, implication there, as widely theorized for many years and shown in Pokemon. Evolutions was the other series. I can't remember if the thing I'm about to say here is from Generations or Evolutions, but might even be from Origins? But anyway, this is the true strength of a gym leader, implying that you don't always see the true strength of a gym leader, just as has been speculated and even depicted in one of those series over many years. And, oh, could it be... Wrong one. Could it be equal to the 7 sages? A little bit of foreshadowing there. Why do you get in our way, even though you don't understand our sublime goal? So young, but so tough. This one, I think, is one of the true believers, right? So, you know, some of Team Plasma are sincere about being a Pokemon liberation organization as they understand it, and some of them are just criminals. And they're gonna properly split for Black 2 and White 2. I think that's the answer to where this one's strength is coming from. They're very serious about the cause, and they're digging deep to support it. I don't think the goofball crooks in the organization are coming up with this statement. Yeah, alright. If I have to lose, at least it's to the gym leader. Okay. Right now, our king is upstairs. There's nothing you can do. Sure. Now I get to fight some grunts again. Bryson, Charen, they are moving around being annoying. They know Charen's name, wow. Bryson is a public figure, but Charen's just a kid from Unova Town. Guess he made himself known to Team Plasma. Anyway. Yeah, that level 34 Watchog definitely screams, there's nothing you can do. Anyway, on to the next grunt. I don't understand. Why are you and the gym leaders against us? I just can't understand it at all. It's probably a true believer type too. Maybe N keeps a lot of those close to him. Or Getsus keeps a lot of them close to N, so N doesn't pick up on what's going on. That would make sense. I will hurt anyone who disobeys Team Plasma. Although this grunt sounds pretty authoritarian, so who knows what their slant on things is. One Pokemon again? Viper. So scary. All these Route 1, Route 2 Pokemon. What am I going to do? Yeah, anyway. Ouch, ouch. You, before you came here, how many Pokemon did you hurt? Okay. Yeah, these grunts all seem pretty serious. Maybe there is something to that. Guess just keeps the serious ones around N. That N doesn't see the darker side of the organization. That would make perfect sense. I'm sure you also thought, I am strong, and I can win, and came here. What? This guy's writing fanfiction about me. Or something. This guy's just overworking his taunts a little bit, I guess. Anyway, nice Scraggy. It's a shame something happened to it. Not the most impressive group of grunts, to be honest. Could have just led Stein back and gotten Stein back some undivided experience. But like I said, I want training opportunities for Moncton. I'll reevaluate at level 40. If the King of Team Plasma rules the world, trainers will disappear and disputes will end. Nobody will fight if humans are only left to their own devices. Put all the humans together in one silo and, of course, they'll never fight. Maybe the fights will be a little bit less dramatic? Ah, technology, weapons, get it. Nonsense. We exist to serve our Lord N. Worst plan since Thanos. Oh, this one has 2 Pokemon. Okay. We're starting with another Liepard. Route 2, well represented. Taking hits, not well represented so far. And it's another Liepard. Alright, now it's starting to feel kind of samey. What's that, 5 Pokemon between them so far? And 3 are Liepard? More battles ahead, of course. Although I don't know how many more. I don't think there are a ton of grunt battles in the tower. But there'll be more grunts in another area soon. Because there are nights, the sun is beautiful. Because we exist, the king shines. Okay. Oh, here's another grunt. You gonna send out 2 Watchog? Since coming to Dragon Spiral Tower, my stress level is maxed out. The more hyper I am, the faster you'll go down. Alright, that's also a very weird, silly thing to say, but I'm entertained by it. 3 Pokemon, okay. We are starting with a Watchog. Are the other 2 also Watchog? That's my guess. I'm locking that guess in. Watchog, Watchog, Watchog. Surpassing the Liepard once again. I think I'm mistaken. Here's another Scraggy. Still only 3 unique species so far in this wave of battles. Rock. That's a little more like it. With the Intimidate, it might take a hit. But I'll just stay in anyway. Also running out of PP and Acrobatics. It did not take a hit. I think there are going to be like a few battles in a row soon. But that's fine. I have other attacks. And other Pokemon to switch to. Dragon Fang. That's the one that boosts Dragon type attacks, but I don't have any on the team right now. Not since I got rid of Dragon Breath on Moncton. This room, absolute classic. Immediately I go the wrong way. Whoops. Obviously I want to get the items, but yeah, going that way to start is not helpful with that. What is helpful is going in, this way, and out. See, I can sell that. And looks like I can go this way to get that one. Can sell that too. Now we're right in the middle. Look at that spin. And then back to the outer rings. I've used a whole super repel in this room. But I am not complaining. I wonder why the ancient people of Unova designed it like this, but not my problem. I think we're supposed to think that the tower is partially ruined, right? Like, not all of it was designed. They probably didn't intend for one weird jagged path here, but that room looks pretty intentional. Who knows? It's shocking! It sounds like something is on a rampage at the top of the tower. Yeah, that's probably N having to face it in battle. It's shocking. And here's Giallo. It's finally time. Our Lord N... Maybe these guys need the Cedric voice. It's finally time. Our Lord N will become the hero. No, I don't think that's what they sound like. I think they have an old man voice that I don't want to attempt. What? Someone made it clear up here? Now, stop that trainer, for our Lord N! And then, yeah, these 4 all surround me, on all sides. Very scary. Giallo's not going to do anything. Everyone who isn't Team Plasma is an enemy. Use all your powers to take them out. No one can interfere with Unova's new dawn. Yeah. Black 2, White 2, slightly different. Just slightly. I think you battle a couple of them. I think you battle Rude once and Zanzilan a few times, but in Black and White, I believe the only one of the 7 sages that you ever battle is Getsus. Which is interesting because there was that line about, I hear the gym leaders are as strong as the 7 sages, which of course is foreshadowing that showdown later. But how strong are the 7 sages? I don't know. They never seem to do anything except stand there and talk and tell grunts to fight for them. Except Getsus at the end. They don't really come across as strong because they don't battle me. They just kind of like lurk in the back. And let the grunts do the dirty work, you know? Kind of seems like they might I mean, I believe it, because I know that one showdown is coming up, although I won't see how the battles play out, but... Kind of seems like the Seven Sages, except Getsus, don't really have much to offer in the battling department. That's not the case, obviously, but it's kind of how they come across, if not for some lines here and there. Team Plasma is more than one person. Our dream is about to come true. No one will be able to stop us. I accidentally skipped a line there while I was... unimpressed with the vocally unimpressed with the Seven Sages. Anyway, another Krokorok. But we know these Intimidates are not really accomplishing anything. This one doesn't even have Intimidate. I have 3 more PP on Acrobatics after this. But the way this is going, the other 2 Grunts might only have 1 Pokemon each. We'll see. Or maybe one of them has a Tranquil, and I can Rock Slide that. I can Rock Slide a lot of things. I don't have to be spamming Acrobatics just because it's my strongest attack. You may have stopped me, but my teammate will stop you here. Here I come, Plasma! It's rubbish. Okay, I can bulldoze that. And, hey, that's a Pokemon that's not from an early route or the desert. And, of course, the Liebird. Of course. Well, 2 PP left on Acrobatics. Let's see what the last Grunt has. We know Giallo isn't battling me. Level 40, but I can't make any switches just yet. Endeavor? Absolutely not. I just want this thing spamming attacks until Defeatus kicks in. And then switching out, I guess. Even though I lost, I will still say, Plasma! Plasma! Okay, great. Our king will create a new world. Bring it on. Can you take on 4 in a row? Plasma! Say that. He should have. 1 Pokemon, of course. It's a Watchog, of course. We just got a Liebird. Gotta get a Watchog next. Anyway, battles might take a little longer because I think I'm going to switch Toronto back to the front of the party now that Moncton's at level 40. I don't understand. Why do you keep trying so hard? Well, we'll let you through for now. Now, of course, Black and White 2 will make clear that the 7 Sages also have some variety of opinions among them. So if I'm speculating that Getsus is surrounding N with the Grunts who are the most serious about Team Plasma's fake vision, the ones who really believe in it, they're just going to say the same things? Okay. I wonder what that means for Giallo. He's one of the less explored of the 7 Sages. He's not one of the few that show up in Black 2 and White 2. The hero will open the way to a new world, which means you trainers can all prepare to lose your Pokemon. But then, I was gonna say, I don't know if we're supposed to think that the 7 Sages are all on the same page as Getsus, because I mean, they are sort of a group within Team Plasma that he leads, but Rude shows up in Black 2 and White 2 on the sincerely wanting to help Pokemon side of Team Plasma. So, yeah, in the same way that there's variety among the Grunts, there's a pretty clear split among the Grunts. It's not as clear-cut here, but there's probably, we can reasonably assume, Black and White 2 pretty much tell us is some variety of opinion among the 7 Sages. But there are like 3 of them that are never explored any significant amount that I can recall, and this guy here is one, so who knows? Now the top of the tower. Look who it is. And look what it is. Not quite the first legendary of the series, but the first restricted legendary. First one that appears on a box cover. Sure does look imposing. Red eyes, sharp teeth, deep black coloring. Otherwise. What do you think, Black? How do you like the powerful form of the Pokemon that appears before in fights? Said the hero that will lead the way to New World. Now, Zekrom and I will head to the Pokemon League to defeat the champion. This will be the last of the Pokemon battles that hurt Pokemon so. Well, not quite the last, will it? A world for Pokemon alone. It's finally going to be a reality. If you want to stop me, you must become a hero as well. That's right. When Sekram's counterpart Reshiram recognizes you, we'll finally be even, and then you can try to stop us. Well, what will you do? My prediction? If future as he is true, you will meet Reshiram. The Pokemon with you believe in you so strongly. Will you be the one who interferes with my formula for changing the world? If you want to protect the bonds between Pokemon and people, you must search for Reshiram. Sorry, I forgot. He always says Pokemon first. Pokemon and people, which obviously is very in character. I'm sure it's waiting for you to form the Lightstone. And he's out of here. Imagine being scooped up by a big, scary dragon like that. Also, N is pretty clearly already intending at this point that I will find Reshiram and we will have that great heroic battle where he puts his ideals to the test. It's kind of interesting how he frames it, though. He's kind of like, I will defeat Alder, and that will be the last Pokemon battle ever. That's the plan. You'd better try to interfere with me. That'll be the last Pokemon battle ever, unless you interfere with my plans. You'd better do that. He's definitely deep at the stage where he's doubting his goals, but he doesn't want to admit it. And also, he's found a way to evaluate them through battle. Which, of course, is what this whole story is building to. Black, did you see what flew off just now? How could this happen? Why? That was that guy N, right? Why was he with the legendary Pokemon? He couldn't really be the hero, could he? Oh, he could, Sharon. Oh, that's very much part of the point of the story here. N is very much a heroic character. I mean, in terms of his role in the story, he's an anti-villain, but, like... yeah, he's the real deal. This is not Lysander or Chairman Rose or even Cyrus or Archie or Maxie that we're dealing with here. And is gonna learn and grow and be better. What he wants right now is probably not what's best for the world. But he is who he says he is. All-time Pokemon antagonist, not least because he backs it up. He's not bluffing about anything. He is who he says he is. Anyway, also, well, there's the fan theory that he's a Zoroark. Don't take that too literally necessarily, but you know what I mean by he is who he says he is. I guess N is really that guy is another way to put it. Also, did I hear him tell you to search for the other legendary Pokemon? Calm down. First we go back. It's more important to decide what to do next than analyze what just happened. Bryson always direct to the point and focused on what needs to be done. Not a bad character. I mean, a little bit... well, very straightforward intentionally because that's the kind of person he is. And he's a side character. He doesn't really need much more than that, but, you know... I never really... obviously, characters like Clay really stand out in this game. Elisa kind of does too. But I never really slowed down and appreciated the different personalities that they work into the gym leaders in this story. Probably has a lot to do with why these gym leaders were more effective for fans. And I think I remember more fondly than at least some of the ones in more recent games like X and Y. Sword and Shield. People have some favorite gym leaders from Sword and Shield, but what can you tell me about each individual one? I do mean all of them. It's a small thing because they're side characters who have mostly a small role. Obviously, they get a little bit more involved in the story throughout this one. They help you out along your journey and show up at the end and whatnot, but mostly they're just there to be a boss fight. But for their role in the story, for their fairly minor, individually minor, I mean, side character role, they did a pretty decent job writing them in this game. Astounding. Astounding. Oh, I never would have imagined the legendary Dragon-type Pokemon would return now. I don't think that voice... the more I do that voice, the less I think it actually fits him. I think I can drop it. That guy called N, Team Plasma's boss, apparently reawakened the legendary Pokemon. He told Black to look for the other legendary Pokemon, then flew away. Huh? She looks at me and looks back. There are 2 legendary Dragon-type Pokemon? Yes. Yes, there are. Is this Professor Juniper? I don't remember. Oh, it's Alder. That makes more sense. Why, if it isn't Alder, it's been a while. Have you been well? Look at how much nicer, more respectful he is to Alder now. You know Charon is starting to internalize some of that life lesson. Sorry, this is actually Cedric speaking, never mind. I'm sure it's true about Sharon, though. No time for chit-chat. Those violent flashes of lightning that shot from the tower, that Pokemon has the power to destroy the world. If it's on Team Plasma's side and Team Plasma tells everyone to release their Pokemon, no matter whether it comes from fear or admiration, the world can't help but change. Okay, I always interpreted it as fear. Like, we have this powerful legendary Pokemon, you can't beat it, you better just give up. I guess that's another take that I didn't really think about when I was first playing through this game, that N's idea could be like, everyone will be so awestruck that I'm the hero, that I have this great power at my side, that they'll know that I'm right. That's probably, that is more in character for what N is aiming for. I think I did not... I'm not going to say that I misinterpreted that on first playthrough, because I think the game leaves both possibilities open, and ultimately N cares more about the outcome than exactly what it is that makes it happen. But yeah, the admiration thing does seem more like him. And hey, also all the more reason that he wants to win a mighty heroic clash between the two dragons, which we, won't be in this episode, but we are building toward that quickly at this point. The world can't help but change. It will become a world where we are separated from Pokemon. Right. Moreover, the boss of Team Plasma, N, who reawakened Zekrom, apparently said to look for the other Pokemon, Reshiram. You know what's funny? That's kind of some clunky exposition, but it's actually not for the audience, because we already know. He just delivered that run-on exposition sentence to Alder. Gets the job done, I guess. Time is of the essence. If I remember the myth, Zekrom's powerful electricity, along with the other Pokemon, devastated ancient Unova in an instant. Even knowing that, N is still wanting to awaken the other? Huh? Bianca's still like, what is going on here? Isn't it dangerous to bring back a Pokemon that powerful? Miss, you're a very kind person. Still, I don't know if other Pokemon will be able to stand up to it. Because no matter what, it is a legendary being. I don't like the idea of taking orders from N, but searching for the dragon, the stone, might not be a bad plan. We certainly can't let Team Plasma reawaken both of them. Since I've traveled all over Unova, I have an idea of where it might be. Let's head back to the Relic Castle, Black. Everyone, let's head back to the Relic Castle. Full stop. Black, everyone, I'm going. I see, we'll leave that to you. I'm going to investigate inside the tower. Hopefully I'll find something. Then I will go with you. We know Cedric wanted to get into that tower and do research already. It's, I'm sure he's sincere about his good intentions here, but it's a little bit convenient. I've got to go investigate inside this place that I badly wanted to get into. I think hey, at least he has Bryson keeping an eye on him. I think I understand better now. Being able to do something for Pokemon, for somebody at a time like this, is strength. I'm sure of it, and my strength is something that is given to me by Pokemon. Okay, champion, let's hurry. That might still count as being a little bit more respectful to Alder. Also, hey, look at Charon drawing strengths from relationships and community. Drawing strength, singular. I don't know why I said strengths. Drawing strength from relationships and community. Just trying to be the best trainer, just doing a lot of battles and winning some, or winning a lot and losing some. He found that kind of empty and meaningless, but now he's finding something bigger to work toward. There we go. Charon, I was never really sure what to say about Charon throughout the story so far. But now he's getting very cleanly tied into the themes of this game. And he understands sort of the flow. I kind of want to describe it like a flow of energy, but like the way community kind of cycles support and reinforces itself, right? He draws strength from Pokemon, now he's lending his strength to help Pokemon. And everything goes in a cycle. And all of it is, again, people and Pokemon from different backgrounds working together, building something together, tackling shared problems, bringing diverse views together to build community and ultimately make everyone better off for it. Charon's starting to get that now. Instead of being a strong trainer, just being an individual thing that he goes and does on his own. He tried that, he found it pretty empty. Now he's found something more fulfilling. Black, this has turned into a big deal. So confusing. I don't know what to do. Are you gonna go to the Relic Castle, Black? Past Route 4 in the desert? I hear that's where the Relic Castle is. Alright, thanks, Bianca. I guess that's also a kind of contribution to the cause here. Except I do actually already know I've been there. but much appreciated. I can get Red Deer out of the PC now. I don't think I'm gonna need strength. I didn't actually need strength at all in Dragon Spiral Tower. It just opened a completely optional shortcut that I didn't really want to take anyway because it's more fun to run across pillars. But I wasn't sure. Okay, seriously, am I not supposed to know whose PC this is by now? That needs investigating. Look at the trucks. We're familiar with the trucks by now, but there they go. Whee! No time for trucks. Got hero stuff to do. I forgot that I could just get my Pokemon healed by this doctor. But I guess I wanted to go into the Pokemon Center anyway to get Red Deer. Anyway. No time for wild battles. Got hero stuff to do. Don't worry about the Scraggy earlier. Stop, Black! How did I beat you here? You left first. Well, maybe he didn't know what it was, where this was because Bianca didn't tell him. That's the entrance to the Relic Castle. You're impressive, Black, making it here before I did. Dealing with the Desert Resort's Pokemon took longer than I would have thought. I only made it all the way out here thanks to my Pokemon. Okay. So he's running into Scraggy everywhere and having some trouble. Although I guess that's nice to say, like, oh, it's true, humans wouldn't be able to make it here on their own. I guess it's nice that Charon is acknowledging that. He's really internalizing the reasons that humans and Pokemon are better off not separated. Alder went on ahead. Let's hurry. Okay. I was trying to, and you stopped me. There, the sand is cleared away, so now you can proceed. Isn't that convenient? Oh, wait. Yeah. That sage can wait. Hang on. You got it. You all set as far as carrying your fossils goes now? You don't need any more taken off your hands? Museum in Akron City. Yep, been there. Let's just keep that sage waiting for a second. I don't want him to think that he's important. Alright. Ryoku, another one who I think is not going to be explored very much. Who I believe does not appear in Black and White 2. Getz has told us that once again we should test how much power you have. We will see if you can defeat Team Plasma. Bro, I know you're not gonna fight me. Just gonna stand there and talk. Let us see if you can defeat Team Plasma. Anyway, Grunts, take care of this, please. Alright. They can try. I've heard about you. I heard you work Pokemon hard. Here we go again. Ooh, this guy has room in his party for a Watchog, a Purloin, sorry, Liepard, a Watchog, a Liepard, and a Scraggy. This is going to be slower, I think, than using Moncton. Because Superior, though legitimately pretty good in this game, is not quite as broken. Especially if I don't take my time to set up coils. And am I really going to do that against Mr. Watchog Grunt number 255? This should get one shot. Alright, let's see the Liepard. Oh, another Krokorok. That's convenient for me. Slam is such a silly move to have on Superior. You saw I finished off the low HP Watchdog with another Leaf Blade just because I didn't want to miss a Slam. So then what's the point of Slam? Coverage, I guess, but yeah, I'm not planning to keep it long term. To get to a lower level, stand still in the middle of the quicksand. I'm not being kind. My companions will defeat you. Well, this guy's welcome to try. Otherwise, I think you're out of luck. Bonk. You, to please my Pokemon, lose. Okay. Let's see what I can do. Watchog? Scraggy. Yeah, we were due for Scraggy. I swear, up until about this point in the game, it wasn't just those same 4 Pokemon all the time. It's still not quite those same 4 all the time. There was a Trubbish. But you know what I mean. I said earlier their teams felt kind of samey, and then I actually saw some that were kind of varied, and I thought maybe I was misremembering. But I think I was just remembering this part of the game. And we'll see if it gets better again. Of course, a lot of evil teams are more samey than this. Like Magma and Aqua Grunts, depending on the game you're playing, just use the same 3 or 4 Pokemon as their bosses. Those are notoriously samey. But I can respect that as a gimmick that those teams have. Team Plasma, at face value, doesn't have any such gimmick. And there's no obvious specific Pokemon that their shtick lends itself to using, so it feels like they should have decent variety. I just don't remember what happens if I blunder into this. I think maybe I'll get an item. It's not the right path, but I think maybe I'll get an item or something. Nope. Oh well. You know, not mad that I checked. This is the right path. I'll get the item and then go into the quicksand. You can't change the world without a little pain. Well, maybe not, but I would want to be a little bit more deliberate and careful about what pain I inflict, when, and why, that's for sure. I don't think you guys have really thought this through. I also don't think you really thought through bringing a Garbodor on its own against me. Might have been scary earlier in the playthrough, but we're past that point now. Glad it didn't get the Pharaoh, though. We're in the desert. These guys should catch a Darmanitan. Darmanitan can worry me a bit, we know that. Oh, I almost started running too soon there. Good thing I didn't. There's the Shadow Ball TM. I can certainly teach that to Moose Jaw. 30, so it'll be relatively high, yeah. Just Moose Jaw. But obviously it's an upgrade on Hex. I mean, unless I do the Will-O-Wisp Hex combo, but then that takes 2 turns to execute, and what's the point most of the time? And also, in this very video, I've missed 3 Will-O-Wisps in a row at one point, so how much do I really want to rely on that? Bonk. Okay, fight the Grunt. And then I know the right way is to the left, but not into that immediate patch of quicksand. But once again, I am going to take a wrong path, because I think at some point there's a wrong path here that leads to an item. I did not read what this guy said, my bad, but I think I could roughly guess what it was. Pokemon won't lose like this. That's a defeatist. That's a worse defeatist attitude than an Archeops. I don't like that I lose battles sometimes. I should just get rid of all my Pokemon. How dare you interrupt us without understanding us? Well, I'm not sure some things are worth understanding. Okay, what's over here? More quicksand. What if I go into this one? I know it's not the right way. We are checking out some wrong ways first. Along the way here. Yeah, see? Item. Sunstone. Never gonna use it. But what if it were something that... I mean, I could sell it. It's sort of useful in that sense. What if it were a TM or something, right? I don't remember my item locations. It could have been. I have to go back multiple layers. That's fine. No big deal. Let's be a little more efficient about this, though, and just walk into the middle instead of making the quicksand pull me in. And then, of course, this is the right way. Pokemon are too good for the likes of you. They are amazing, but putting them in the hands of foolish trainers can bring nothing good. These people are spouting a lot of the same stuff as the ones in the tower, and I know they're here with Getsus, not N, so maybe my speculation was off base. I don't know. It's a neat idea. It would be like Getsus to manipulate things in the way that I suggested. But maybe I'm overthinking it. Nice one shot. Kind of need those right now with the HP Toronto's at. We're just going to switch out against this Trubbish. You know who's coming in. Oh, my Team Plasma's ready for this. How about that? A Pokemon that fought against humans for Pokemon. And at that time seemed invested in keeping them separate. Stepping up now to fight against Team Plasma. Of course, it'll do that with more agency in the story in Black 2 and White 2. But here we are already. Because I took the time to go catch it in this game. And Team Plasma still think they're in the right? Me? Lose? Here I am, covered in sand, throwing everything I have into it, and I lose? Am I that much of a loser? It should be your loss, and that's an order. Okay, I like this grunt. It should be your loss, and that's an order. She's just, she's had enough. Bonk. Feels like this should be a multi-battle, but no. We fight for the young king, that's it. They're just lined up like that. One at a time. And here's a Watchog. How many Watchog is that in the video? I have no idea at this point. Let me know in the comments how many... Let me know in the comments... I don't need to keep doing this throughout the video. Let me know how many in the comments how many Watchog total appear in this episode on opposing trainers' teams. Maybe a separate count for Team Plasma Grunts if anyone else sends out a Watchog. How many Watchog are in this video? Specifically on Team Plasma teams. Or opposing trainers' teams overall. Let me know. Good thing growing to level 38 was all it took to one-shot all this stuff, by the way. Everything changes, Unova will be born again. Why don't you admit that? Oh, I know everything changes, but... change isn't inherently good, or inherently bad. To the extent that it's within our control, we have to evaluate and make judgments on that. And make the best decisions we can. Everything changes doesn't by itself tell me much. I won't tolerate people who have different ideas. Well, that's pretty direct about what's going on here. No wonder you guys are the villains. I keep saying N's not a villain. I stand by that. He's actually going to get very good at tolerating people with different ideas, but no wonder you guys, Team Plasma broadly, are the villains. And there's the mandatory life road. Oh, forgot I have bright powder on Red Deer. For a second, I could not. I was so puzzled as to how I dodged that fake out, but that is, I think, the first bright powder dodge of the run, and a good time for it because why are you wasting my time with a fake out like that? I won't tolerate people who have different ideas about wasting my time like that in a playthrough. I repeat, we won't tolerate people who have different ideas. Your friends are waiting below. Now get out. Okay, whatever. Goodbye. That one is very on the nose about what's wrong here. I like the one who ordered me to lose, though. Or, like, ordered me to retroactively have lost. That grunt was funny. She can be pardoned or something, but not that last one. Woo, finally caught up. You two, come here. Come to my side. And look who it is. It looks like everyone is here. It seems you are working hard to resurrect Reshiram, the other Dragon-type Pokemon, aren't you? But it appears the Lightstone you seek is not here. Well then, congratulations are in order. Black, you were chosen by our king. If you truly desire to keep the world as it is, where Pokemon live alongside people, you must bring the other Dragon-type Pokemon spoken of in legend and battle with our king. Otherwise, Team Plasma will steal every Pokemon from every person in the world and release them all. Release them, you say? Do the Pokemon who live with their trainers actually want that? Good question. Is liberation you talk about really just stealing Pokemon from people? What's this? Champion Alder, even though illness took the Pokemon that had been your partner for many years, and you haven't had a serious battle in all that time. The champion hasn't had a serious battle in many years? It fits his character, but what's going on with this league? Not enough young trainers rising up, huh? No wonder Ace Trainer Jesse with his Vanillish and Galvantula talked about how his defeat would rock the region. If that's the caliber of young trainer, up until I come along. Even you, who ordered the Elite Four to protect the Pokemon League and left to wander the Unova region alone. Alright, I guess that's an answer. I don't know if the champion can really just do that, though. What if a challenger beats the Elite Four? Even a champion like you now wants to protect a world where Pokemon and people live together. Team Plasma's king will show the people of Unova that he is stronger than a champion who keeps Pokemon bound. I guess a champion, I guess like any role, you can take a leave of absence to deal with grief or something, right? Many years, though? Well, I guess the answer is probably just nobody has beaten the Elite Four. It's going to be all the more impressive when somebody does it for the first time in many years, and obviously I mean N. He's going to be the next to do it. And just like the hero who founded Unova, he will be accompanied by the legendary Pokemon. He will give this order: Trainers, release your Pokemon. For this, we have prepared a suitable castle for the legendary Zekrom and our king. I won't lose. I'll fight for all trainers who love their Pokemon and for all Pokemon who believe in their trainers. Our king has no interest in you. He has already determined that victory against you is assured. So you stayed behind just to tell me that? Just to make a fool of me? Of course not. I'm doing this out of kindness. Yes, kindness. I'm making sure the champion doesn't get hurt for no reason. Granted, the moment when someone loses all hope. I really do love to watch that moment. Do you think Getsus might be an actual villain, unlike N? Think this might be a bad guy, by any chance? Well then, farewell. Honestly, he hides it even less than I remembered. It's really just that one speech in Accumula Town. And then I guess otherwise we're accompanied by gym leaders and Alder and stuff. People who are a little bit sharper about what's going on, and Getsus knows there's not much point pretending with them. That's really what it is. Alder, what are you going to do now? It seems my only choice is to return to the Pokemon League and battle N. But it bothers me to do exactly what Getsus wants. More importantly, what should we do about the Lightstone? Alder, why don't we go outside for now? Yes, that's a good idea. It's hard to breathe in here. Okay, back outside. It's hard to put into words, but I'll never forgive them for this. What could that guy called N possibly want? Could he be trying to prove he is right by winning the battle of the two dragons? That is exactly it, yeah. Or, you know what? I think even by this point in the story, N is... He'd like to prove he's right, but I think he's sincere about... I don't think he's certain that he'll win. I think even by this point he's sincere about using the battle to test his beliefs and test his resolve and test his ideals. But that would be a hard thing for these characters to pick up on. Anyway, Professor Juniper called me on the cross-turn receiver. Black! Black! Hello? Black? Oh, you picked up. Hey, Black. Come to the museum in Nacron City immediately. Right away. Got it? I mean, right now. Okay. I could hear Professor Juniper's voice from clear over here. Seems like something big is happening. I wonder what's waiting for the museum in the museum at Nacron City. I'll go on ahead. I'll look around here once more. I don't want to believe what that Getsus says. You should head for the Nacron City Museum. Okay, before I do that, a couple thoughts about Getsus. Number one, I'm not exactly sure what he was cooking with that call out of Alder. I mean, I think on one level, he's kind of just saying that Alder is washed. Like, Alder hasn't battled in years. Is he really going to stand up to N and try to defend the current state of the region? And obviously, Alder is going to do that. He's going to step up and do what he sees as his responsibility. But I think some of what Getsus is saying there is like, you're past your prime, old man. You're not up to this. The other thing, though, N wandering the region, sort of in grief after his... Or, sorry, Alder wandering the region, sort of in grief after his beloved Pokemon died. I sort of wonder if... I mean, Getsus doesn't mean it, right? It's just rhetoric for him. But I sort of wonder if he's trying to tap into the same kind of thing as that one grunt who was like, if I don't have any Pokemon anymore, then I'll never lose like this again. The idea that having had that relationship hurts him when he's over, and when it's over, and people don't have to experience that pain if the relationships, that they don't have the relationships at all. It doesn't really make any sense. I mean, he's going to inflict that pain on a lot of people very quickly, but I guess his theory is... I know that Getsus doesn't really mean any of this, but I guess the theory that he's stating is after that, no one else will ever have to experience it again. But, like... And people still have relationships with people. Life continues. Even if you radically change it, life continues, and a lot of the same experiences happen in some form or another. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't have to make sense. He's just manipulating his rhetoric, but it's a weird angle to take, and I'm not sure I'm interpreting it correctly. Maybe he meant something else by calling that out about Alder. I do think he also meant, you're washed up, you can't stop N, but maybe I'm a little off on what the other meaning to it is. I mean, Getsus is there. Getsus leads a raid on the Relic Castle to try to get the Lightstone first and prevent me from finding it, right? Getsus doesn't want me to have a real shot at defeating N. Later in the story, but Getsus, that is one thing that's kind of interesting, because Getsus is, he's one kind of villain pretending to be another kind of villain. That's his whole thing in this game. So he's kind of threading the needle there, where, like, he doesn't want the battle to actually happen. He certainly doesn't want me to have a real chance of winning it. But N does want those things. And N is nominally the leader of Team Plasma, and N is the best embodiment of what Getsus says are his goals. So Getsus, trying to act like the dutiful advisor, would like these things to not happen, but can only do so much to directly interfere. Later in the story, I think, when I have the Lightstone and it's not turning into a dragon, he'll be like, oh, it's fine, the dragon doesn't recognize this guy, I can just tell him to go face N, and the battle is not going to happen anyway, because Reshiram is not going to appear for him. Or it has done so far, so it won't. Easy. Easy position for Getsus to be in. I think here, at this point in the game, he would like to find the Lightstone first and prevent me from finding Reshiram at all. But when he's confronted, he has to be like, oh no, I'm just here as a kindness to you, to advise you to back down. Our king wants the battle, and so the battle will happen. Because he can't be open about trying to prevent... he can't be open about trying to undermine the thing that N wants like that. But he was definitely there to find the Lightstone first, right? Unfortunately for him, this is not where it is. Imagine if I didn't use Fly for all this backtracking. I don't have to imagine. I've done many a playthrough where I didn't. I always say Fly is a luxury. I'm not always as serious about building it into my team as I have been in this playthrough. I am genuinely doing that for you. That's why there's still a Swanna on the team. Anyway. Alder told me what's going on. I guess Cedric is done with the Dragon's Spiral Tower. Black, you got caught up in something serious, it seems. Here's Lenora. Is this it? Whoa, isn't that the stone found at the desert resort? Yes, that's right, but is this really a dragon-type Pokemon? Surely. When I investigated Dragon Spiral Tower, I found elements that were dated to the same era as this light stone. I looked into that. Impressive as always. Wow, these people were on top of things. Cedric, sort of, you know, studying what he finds inside the tower, studying its composition, knowing where he's seen that before. Some sharp-minded professors putting in work here to make sure that my part in this story can happen. Hey, more different people with different skills and backgrounds contributing to the cause, right? Nobody else in this game is going to be able to he's going to be able to track the Lightstone down in that way. But, you know, we're lucky. And I mean, hey, I was told that it was just an unassuming stone that doesn't mean anything that was found in the desert. Maybe I've forgotten about it by now if this is the first playthrough, right? But, you know, we're lucky, because what if Team Plasma, like, noticed that old stone that time? When they stole the skull, I assume? That's a good point. It's clear to me that they were trying to steal the Dragon Skull so they could revive the legendary Dragon-type Pokemon. If you would, Black, take this. Wait a moment, Black. If you take this Lightstone, that means you'll be the one to battle N if anything happens to me. Are you really okay with that? Absolutely, not even a question. Have you seen my team? I understand, you were determined to take on this duty. Then here it is. Prepare yourself. Be strong. I see. If things don't go as planned, you'll use this Lightstone. You'll protect the true future for us and Pokemon. Black, we're counting on you. Please take care of yourself. What an ordinary, unassuming stone. That probably means nothing, but they're all talking about it like it's important, so I'll carry it around. ... So how do we make the Dragon-type Pokemon from the stone, then? Huh? That's it. We've got them, don't we? Aha, we've got those two. Black, go to Opelucid City. The gym leader of that city uses Dragon-type Pokemon. The gym leader could know something. I'll go ahead and wait for you there. Until then... Oh, wait. We've got them. Classic writing right there. That's right. Opelucid City's Drayden might know something. Hey, Black. Never forget that you always have Pokemon right by your side. I'm going to head back to the lab to do some research. I'll see if I can uncover what kinds of beings these legendary Dragon-type Pokemon are, and if there's any way to awaken them. Professor's back to studying. Can't remember if that's going to come up again. Not sure. Can't remember if they're going to have any more insight for me, but they've done great already. Don't worry. If we have something for you, we'll come running to find you. Ooh, sounds real serious. That's about all I got out of it. Black, do you know Opelucid City? When you leave from Isira City and, like, cross the Two-Blind Bridge, it's on the other side. I'm not really that great with directions, so if you need more, check your town map, okay? Poor Bianca. Poor Bianca. She is genuinely doing her best. But yeah, she's a little bit out of the loop on what's going on, and also it's just a little bit out of her depth, and she knows that. She's like, wait, big dragon legendary Pokemon? That sounds pretty serious. Uh-oh. It's totally fine. She's stepping up and doing her part. She's doing great. It's a nice contrast, I guess, from the professors and Alder. All the grave seriousness with those people. Team Plasma really came in here talking a big game about reviving legendary dragon Pokemon, and they stole this skull from this Dragonite-looking skeleton. And yeah, they missed the ancient round stone that was buried in the desert. Buried no longer. Well, that's not true. It's buried in my bag. Reshiram's body was destroyed and changed into this stone. That sounds pretty serious. Its body was destroyed? What happened to it? It is said to be waiting for the emergence of a hero. I mean, it kind of seems like that's just what happens to the dragons when they go dormant, but its body was destroyed sounds a little bit more grim than what I was imagining. Kitakami? Kitakami confirmed. Yeah, Team Plasma did not know what they were doing, and that group was not just a bunch of ragtag grunts like at the Dream Yard. They were led by one of the Seven Sages. I think Gorm? Not that it matters. Most of the Seven Sages don't have much going on character-wise. So they must have been at an early stage of figuring out how to actually make N's mission happen. But somehow, off-screen, they got there. And now, one very important thing to do before I fly back to Isira City. This needs investigating. Is it not your PC? Yeah, it's not someone's PC anymore. I just had never talked to her and been told, "Hello, trainer, I am the one who did the PC." Until now. That's a weird oversight. How'd that happen? Alright, Isira City. Time to press on. Let's heal the team. I'm actually going to take a quick little break. Probably just like a few minutes, but for you, not noticeable. Just time to press on. Let's go. Okay. This way, of course, out of town. Right through there. The gap's over here. Stumbled into an encounter. Already have my Isira City encounter. It was also a Palpitoad. Don't need another one. Didn't really need the first one. Stunfisk might be spring only, or spring and summer or something, I don't know. I never memorized much of that stuff. Anyway, Route 8. Immediate encounter here, in the shallow pool. Oh, there's a Stunfisk, never mind, myth busted. Another late game Pokemon that could be kind of fun to train, but I do not have room for it on my team. But I'll still try to catch it. Flameberg. Probably have some openings on my team, if not for him making too many of them too quickly. Oh, not worried about accuracy drops when not attacking anyway. Nice resistance, nice leech seed recovery. Just ideally catch this before it's knocked out. And plenty of turns to do that, I think. Almost. Camouflage, fun move. Hard to find much practical use for it most of the time. But this Stunfisk is not an electric type anymore. That seems strictly disadvantageous for it in this matchup. That doesn't actually matter when I'm just spamming Ultra Balls anyway. Please don't paralyze. Oh, crit. Wouldn't notice but for the text, though. I thought that Ultra Ball made a different noise when I threw it. That was a critical capture. I guess that makes a different noise. I don't think I ever knew that. I used to play these games with the sound off a lot of the time. At that point in my life. I mean, I still do if I'm not doing the initial playthrough when I want to hear all the music and all the areas the first time. But back then, I guess when, like, I didn't live alone, which I do now. I didn't have headphones plugging into my system. Sound on just meant sound playing to the whole room. Did a lot more playing with sound off. But I think there was a different noise for that critical capture just now. Also, anyone know what generation they added critical captures? I knew they existed in Gen 6, so it had to be that at the earliest. I was recently reminded by, I don't know, a post somewhere that they existed in Gen 5. I can look this one up for myself, actually. Were they a Gen 5 edition? I don't remember them existing earlier than that. Critical Capture. Since Generation 5, this is the first game in which critical captures existed. Glad we got to show one in the playthrough here. And yeah, that made a whoosh noise. Not really, like a shoo noise or something. I don't know. You can go back and listen to it when I threw that ball, I'm pretty sure. So, credit to the Stunfisk for showing off a brand new mechanic. Its skin is very hard, so it is unhurt, even if it is stepped on by sumo wrestlers. It smiles while transmitting electricity. I don't think it's going to be too phased by being critical captured, but thank you for showing that off, Stunfisk. Or, as you'll now be known. Vancouver. Might as well get a repel on now. Where are my repels? I've gone... I was gonna say I went too far through the bag. That's not true. I hadn't gone far enough. I don't know why they put medicine first in some generations. General miscellaneous items pocket first always made more sense to me, and it is how it is in this one. I have no idea why they changed that. Mother Nature changes her look according to the seasons. That's something I cherish. Maybe they just thought in the playthrough, a lot of the kiddos would be going to the medicine pocket more often because they need a bunch of potions and stuff to get through their playthrough. But I don't know. It's just intuitive to me that, you know, the item pocket, as it used to be known, I think it's called miscellaneous or something now, would be the one that goes first. And then the more specialized pockets go after. Which does seem to be how it is in this generation. I just don't know why they ever changed that. In Scarlet and Violet, there's not really anything that I could call the item pocket anymore, maybe. Things are so segmented, but I don't know, the miscellaneous pocket where a lot of different kinds of items go is like somewhere in the middle, isn't it? It's deep in the list. I don't want Tailwind. What am I ever going to do with Tailwind? And I already have plenty of good or HM moves. Good or HM. Surface both. On Steinbach. Guess we'll switch out of this Maractus. Don't really want to be clicking Slam into it. Guess I'll go to... Is it raining? It is raining. A little thing on the bottom screen that tells me the weather. I'll go Moncton. Acupressure? What boost are you getting? Accuracy. It would be funny if it were evasiveness and then it dodged a bunch of attacks, but no such luck for them this time. Very funny move, Acupressure. I've cheesed some people with it in gimmicky VGC adjacent formats in recent memory. When seasons change, Mother Nature gives us this. It's Petra Berry. That's a useful berry. Look in the bag. Yeah, item pocket first. As it should be. Poison Barb. So many type boosting items all over this region. Don't think I have a use for that one. I have a Repel on already, right? That's what I was going to the bag for just there. Sludge Bomb TM. I don't think that's useful to anyone on my team. No, I can't imagine it is. Could be useful something though. Of course, this is Gen 5. Poison is still the worst attacking type in the game because Fairy doesn't exist yet. A Sludge Bomb TM will be a very cool find in, well, from X and Y on. But still, it's good for poison types. Sometimes you're using one of those. The splish splosh sounds, those were your footsteps, weren't they? So cute. Maybe some water types could benefit from Sludge Bomb because I definitely don't have the Ice Beam TM yet. That's probably post-game, like Giant Chasm area, I think. So Sludge Bomb could be a good stopgap for, I don't know, something. Maybe Seismitoad, if I were training one of those, could use Sludge Bomb. I don't know if Jellicent learns Sludge Bomb, but if it does, that's another option. But yeah. My water type is also a flying type, and nothing on my current team benefits from it. I doubt that anything on my current team can even learn it, though I didn't actually check. Splish Splosh. Did you just say that I'm too strong to be cute? Word of footstep fortune telling, those whose footsteps make a splish and a splosh are trainers that Pokemon like. Alright, well, let's listen carefully here. I think I heard some splishing, and I think I heard some sploshing, so I think I'm good. Splish, splosh, splish, splosh. It blends in among the trees and grass, and it shows its strength. See the strength of my Pokemon. Okay, that red liquid was supposed to be a riddle, but... Was she just referring to herself in third-person neuter? What was that? It blends in. Tickle? Lowering my attack? No fair, I don't have contrary on this snake. This is black and white. Hidden abilities are pretty hard to come by. Good thing I have a boosted crit rate on Leaf Blade, I guess. What I wanted to see was not your strength. This is what Pokemon love. Here, take some. Okay, so we're just dropping that weird riddle-like delivery. I think she was just talking about Chinchino. But not a great showcase of its strength, just tickling and getting knocked out. What can you do? There is nature and there are cities, and it's lovely to have the choice. Both people and Pokemon can choose their favorite places. This game is not going to stop driving its themes home. Both people and Pokemon can live where they think best. They don't have to be siloed off into their own separate places. We get it by now. Here's the Moor of Isurus. How many of you never came here? I didn't bring strength. Silly me. I can come back. I can get a Moor of Isurus encounter. Probably just gonna be a Palpitoad or a Stunfisk, right? But we'll see. Shelmet. Absolutely not training that, but might as well catch it. Yeah, Struggle Bug is just not doing much at this point. In this game, it was a lot scarier when Berg was using it against me. Figure out what I'm going to name this thing, if I catch it. Was that another crit? It was. Wow, back-to-back critical captures. Maybe I'll never... It still failed, though. Maybe I'll never have a ball shake more than once again. Oh, I actually just didn't read further in Bulbapedia. When a critical capture occurs, the Pokeball will make a high-pitched whistling sound as it is thrown. It's actually mentioned in the Bulbapedia article. So yeah, definitely wasn't hearing things. No crit this time. Back-to-back crits was pretty exciting. Too bad the streak is broken. But the crit didn't catch it, and this one did. So I guess we take those. Also, Toronto didn't fall asleep. We caught it quickly enough to avoid that. When attacking, it defends itself by closing the lid of its shell. It can spit a sticky, poisonous liquid. One of quite a few Pokemon in the games that are explicitly poisonous, but not poison types. But I genuinely do trust Game Freak's judgment on that. They're actually... I don't know why people give them so much grief over the types they assign to some Pokemon. They are actually very good at making the right choices there. Anyway... I guess her name can be... Nanaimo? I don't know. I don't know much about Nanaimo, but I like their bars. Haven't fought this guy yet. Knowing oneself, knowing the other, and knowing the surroundings, that's a ranger. Knowing the other. Okay. Maybe he'll elaborate. Although, I wouldn't bet on it. Okay, some of these rangers are around here. Anyway, I have just the thing to deal with this ice type here. And you know what? Before I inevitably delete the move for Sword Stance or more coverage, I think it's time for Red Deer's first Flash Cannon. Not a bad animation. And here's a warm-up for the Dragon Gem. I actually meant to go Sacred Sword, but I messed up the input because I'm just so used to hitting Iron Head. Well, let's just go back to Flash Cannon to close this out, shall we? Still faster. And did he know about that? Isn't this... I think the Moor of Isurus should be familiar territory for Cobalion, right? Because if I remember correctly, I think this is supposed to be where that fire happened. If you're prepared, you don't have to worry. Citrus Berry, not bad. Not much chance I use it. He said some other things. You can double back. I think this is supposed to be where the fire happened in the legend of, you know, those three in Keldeo. There's different kinds of Pokemon live around here. Planet Pokemon to take along. Okay. And of course, this is another area that's completely different in winter. This is all ice, like it is in the rest of these spots, like it is on Route 8, like it is in Isurus City. And so that changes a little bit where you can get to and how you get there. A little bit more open and easy to explore outside of winter. I didn't read what this ranger said, did I? Whoops. Anyway, here's a familiar matchup I haven't seen in a little bit. Needs to switch in, Intimidate. Is this Charlottetown's first battle since evolving? I don't think so. But am I 100% certain? Oh, wait, I haven't gone back and checked Charlottetown's TM compatibility. I could probably teach Aerial Ace or even maybe X-Scissor now. Maybe not X-Scissor, but I should check. Would I rather have Aerial Ace than Low Sweep? I think so, when I already have Bulldoze. I also think I can just go ahead and crunch this Maractus. Oh, survives the hit. Does it get the evasiveness boost with Acupressure? Nope, accuracy again. Not helpful. Speed or... defense probably would have been too little too late, but speed could have been useful to it there as well. Mola. Let's just crunch it and see what happens. Okay, I can switch. It's not doing much damage back, but 2 more crunches, probably only 1 Leaf Blade. It protected this turn anyway. Didn't do it this time. Good job not wasting my time. Goodbye. Might want to take that experience share away from Steinbach soonish, but not just yet. Another Citrus Berry, that's nice. Happy to get that. Probably never going to use it, but nice to have. Good berry. Stay still and listen carefully. Hear the sounds of nearby Pokemon, the breath of trees and swamps. Alright, let's try it. What do you hear? Moor of Isurus is not the most exciting location in the games, but we sure are in nature right now. And I like when Pokemon games have a good amount of natural wilderness. So it's nice to have this little area to explore. Of course, I always say I also miss having remote areas without other people around, like the Whirl Islands in Gen 2. The Seafoam Islands in Gen 1. There's not really anything like that in the games anymore, and there should be. But nature like this is still pretty good. Why do I keep going to the Pokemon menu? What I mean to do is TM menu. Let's see whether Crocodile can learn X-Scissor. No. But I think Ash's Crocodile knew Aerial Ace, didn't it? I know Krokorok couldn't learn Aerial Ace, but surely we can get some cover into grass and bug types now. Crocodile can learn Aerial Ace. So can all of Serperior, Swanna, Archeops, and Cobalion. So finally we found a TM that's compatible with a bunch of my team, but I don't think any of those others want... Honestly, I might as well actually teach Aerial Ace to Toronto over Slam. When am I ever using Slam? Red Deer's fine, because Red Deer already knows X-Scissor. I might as well teach Aerial Ace to Toronto. I'm not sure I knew that was an option all this time. I think I missed that. I don't think Servine or Snivy was able to learn Aerial Ace. There we go, no more Slam accuracy worries that ultimately make me just not click Slam. Now I have an actual finishing move that doesn't use a Leaf Blade PowerPoint. If they're trainers, I just have to battle with them, because they may show me Water-type Pokemon I've never seen. This guy knows what he likes. He has 2 Pokemon. They're probably both Basculin, so he could use some more variety in his life. Let's see. This one's a Basculin. I'm guessing the other one is Red Stripe Basculin, but I could be wrong. Oh, that's not a water type at all. He really caught me off guard with that one. You know what Endure means. It'll take a hit. Wasting my time is no big deal, but it's a second chance to get a para with Static. If it has it. I think they also get Limber or something. In any case, no Static para here. But good try. If that's what you were going for. If I find water, I drop in my fishing line, because even with a puddle, there may be Pokemon that I've never seen. Yeah, any water, you never know. Remember Gen 2 when you could fish in the water in the Cerulean gym? Like, I caught my first ever Staryu just right behind Misty in the gym. I don't think that was intended by Game Freak, but it was pretty funny, and I miss it being a thing. Already battled her. She's the Splish Splosh lady. I've been splishing and sploshing all over the moor of Isurus. Don't you worry. Anyway, this way to the bridge. I'll go back to the moor of Isurus, but I'm not in a rush. I'll just, like, grab Montreal next time I go to PC. Or next time I go to a Pokemon Center. She just gave me the TM for Facade. I don't think that's of interest, but, you know, on a different team it could be. It's not a bad TM, it's just probably best placed a little earlier than this. It's pretty decent, though. And I guess this game wants you using whatever Lenora's TM was, Retaliate or something. Real fishermen are impatient, so we must battle immediately. That is not what I've heard about fishermen before, but who am I to argue with this guy? He sure looks like a fisherman. He's got a Basculin. This one's Red Stripe. Maybe he's got another Stunfisk in the back afterward, we'll see. Does have a second Pokemon. Okay, no, this one's a real 2 Basculin guy. He does have both forms. Hey, if I battled him first, then that other guy's bluff would have been even more effective. Anyway. He lost. I lost. How do I know that real fishermen are so impatient? Because we change places frantically if we cannot catch Pokemon. Okay, that is actually pretty accurate to what I do when I fish in Pokemon games. I wouldn't call myself a fisherman. If you turn a parasol around, it's like a flower blossoming in the rain. That's cool. Don't know why I had to go up to you to say that. You couldn't walk over to me, but it's alright. I'm motivated to battle people in this game. I'll do that. Obviously, I did that. In fact, I'm down to 5 PP for Leaf Blade, 4 now, so not ideal. Although, Toronto's about to hit level 40, so I'll probably switch Moncton back to the front soon anyway. Maybe after 2 Blind Bridge, I'll make the swap. Ack! Come on. I'm not always reading that post-battle dialogue. Sometimes it just goes by too quickly, but Ack is pretty quick and simple to read. On rainy days, use a parasol, wear a parasol, use a coat. On rainy days, wear a parasol, use a coat, or get wet. Do it as you like. Okay. For me, in real life, kind of comes down to how rainy it is. Light rain, I'm not that bothered. Actually, if it's raining more heavily in my area, then sometimes it's too windy for an umbrella to really be practical. So there have been lots of times that I've gone out with an umbrella and then just closed it up because the wind is blowing it out of shape and all over the place, and it's not really helping at all. So, to be honest, I actually get rained on quite a bit. More than some people would like. That's alright. Not that big a deal. Get a little damp. Anyway, Heat Rock. That, of course, would extend the turns of Sun if I used Sunny Day. But I don't think I'll be doing that. Oh, wait, what did she say? If you like rocks, come back tomorrow. Roll in at a different time. If possible, I'll be here, I promise. And she's got jokes. Okay, that's actually kind of a fun pun. I like it. Black. As I've been traveling lately, I've been thinking about things. Things like what I can do with my life and what I want to do. What I can do, what I want. Okay. But I'm thinking how cool it would be. Things like what I can do with my life and what I want to do. There we go. That's the right inflection. I'm thinking about how cool it would be to be a model like Elisa. And then how cool it would be to do research on Pokemon like Professor Juniper. If that's what I want to do, I'm going to have to know a lot about Pokemon. So, would you please battle me? Absolutely. I vaguely remembered that this battle exists. Vaguely. Honestly, it didn't really pop into my head until I was inside of the entrance to the bridge. We're leading with Stoutland now. Gotten way stronger. That is a level 38 Stoutland, not bad. I would probably just... Actually, I can just Leaf Seed. This is a boss fight. Let's just Leaf Seed and Coil. Okay, not a great start. Okay, she's setting up 2. You know what? I'm gonna speed this up and just go to my Stoutland hard counter after all. But I did entertain the idea of Coil setup against this. Got greedy. Don't think you're gonna need to use those boosts now. Oh, it actually took 1 hit, but it just went for workup again. That's really greedy, Bianca. You should know better. You're a smart character. Sacred Sword, of course, which I'm not clicking right now, but just did and will again. I believe exclusive to the 4 Swords of Justice in this game. Kind of their group signature move, like Nature's Madness for the Tapu and Ruination for the Treasures of Ruin, and Mystical Power eventually for the Lake Spirit Mons. I'm not at all mad that Sacred Sword was more widely distributed. It's a useful move for a lot of Pokemon. Look at that big pecs coming in handy. That doesn't happen too often. It's a useful move for a lot of Pokemon. It's good to have it on stuff like Chien-Pao and Gallade. I don't know. Some stuff that's not occurring to me. And of course, very fitting flavor-wise for things like Aegislash and Chien-Pao, but maybe made a little bit less special by not being a legendary signature move anymore. Probably for the best. But it was once in that special category. Unless there's something that learned it in this game that I'm forgetting about. But if that's the case, I don't think I'm going to come up with it right now. Anyway, Steinbach has not been battling a whole lot throughout this whole run, mostly just coasting on the experience share, but a timely flinch against Bianca's Samurott after she already used a full restore. Oh, she has another one. Might still be able to beat the Samurott because I do have Surf available to Steinbach. In fact, I think I might as well go for that next. I don't know why I said surf, I meant roost. It's that kind of day, I guess, huh? I do also have surf available, and it would be boosted by the rain, but I'd still rather air slash the Samurott. It's taking a few hits, I can get some flinches. I can also miss, but it's not very likely. Probably going to happen now that I said that. Nice flinch. And I believe we landed every air slash. Look, it's time back, go. That just leaves Masharna, and I'm just going to switch out to Charlottetown to deal with this. I'll play these, well, might be playing these sleep games, but it's not going to be able to hit Charlottetown with a Dream Eater or Psychic or Zen Headbutt after that. So, not playing these sleep games in a way that really has any point for Bianca. She starts with Lucky Chant. Can't say that's likely to be very useful. Does guarantee it takes a hit, I guess. A crit would have KO'd there, but I don't think that defense curl is saving it from the next crunch. Yeah, a lot of these Masharna in this game just don't have good these NPC Masharna just don't have good sets for things like this. Anyway, Pokemon on both sides tried so hard, didn't they? Yep, Black, you're amazing. I'm really, really, really impressed, and that makes me want to give this to you. Lower store, nice. Kept one in the back. Of course, her dad gave her 2 copies of an HM once. Maybe he's giving her like 1 million full restores now. Yeah, she used a couple, saved one for me. Nice. In Castelia City, my precious Pokemon was stolen by Team Plasma, so I really, really understand. If Team Plasma forces everyone to liberate their Pokemon, there will be nothing but sad people. Black, stop Team Plasma. Don't allow Pokemon to be stolen from trainers who love them. I think that's the truth. Or ideal that you've been pursuing, Black. So that line works for both games. Oh dear, here I've come all this way, and I'm afraid I'm bothering you when you're going through so much. All I wanted was to help you relax, Black. Knowing you, you'll be fine. Definitely, you'll totally be fine. I guarantee it. Anyway, you know what I mean. Yeah. So, bye-bye. I am really liking Bianca this playthrough. She is doing her best in such a sincere and sometimes genuinely helpful way. And it's awkward, and she knows it. That pep talk got a little silly, but she means it. It's nice. The thing about the truth and ideal that I've been seeking, I guess it's a little bit of an awkward spot for telling a story like this, with this much to it, more than is usual in a Pokemon game, with a silent protagonist, right? Because it kind of feels like the truth or ideal, everyone, people in Pokemon belong together, they shouldn't be separated by someone's whim, is more just what everyone else in the whole region except Team Plasma has been telling me all this time. Right, like the player character can't really have opinions in this game. We're still in the silent protagonist era of Pokemon. I mean, I guess they just trust that the player buys into the path that the story lays out for them, but it kind of feels like everyone else is steering me on this specific path. Even N, right? Because he's not on my side, but he wants to have the battle, and he's orchestrating events so that it happens. Kind of feels like everyone else is steering me on this path more than it's my own path, but hey. Silent protagonist was what Pokemon did at the time, and we work within the limits you're given. They still pull it off reasonably well in this game. But no wonder they made the protagonists a little less silent, not terribly long after this. How do I describe this? You know that vibration you feel on the soles of your feet when you're crossing the two-blind bridge? It's the coolest! Right, because the subway goes through there. We're going to see that. Probably going out to, like, Anvil Town. This is about the right part of the region. I know you won't be able to see the town map, but bear with me just for a moment. Yeah, we're actually very close to Anvil Town. Well, no, we're not. Anvil Town is way off to the west. I was looking at something else on the map. But we're as close to Anvil Town as the main routes and stuff get. Just about. Isira City. So yeah, it probably is where some of these trains are going. A giant steel bridge towering over the road ahead. I get excited just looking at this model of the two-blind bridge. Of course, we did see a map of the subway system all the way back in Nimbasa City, but I recorded that episode a while ago. I don't remember whether that route really seemed to go through here, but it would make sense. For anyone obsessed with railroads, especially train photographers like me, the Two Blind Bridge and Anvil Town are both perfect spots for taking pictures. Makes sense to me. Here's a model of the bridge. Little perspective shift. Here's the real deal. We are, of course, going east, but east is up right now. Look at that. Subway trains going by. Honestly, this is probably one of the bridges that... This is probably the bridge that I'm least interested in this game. But that's just a testament to how awesome these bridges are. They really did a good job on the spectacle of the bridges. They're all unique. They're all, in my opinion, really enjoyable to cross. I don't get tired of crossing them in playthrough after playthrough, even though they're kind of long and straightforward. This, I think, is the least interesting one, and Game Freak, that just means Game Freak killed it with all of them. It's just my opinion, but it's best if you avoid this area on weekend evenings. The brats who live around here often get up to something stupid. Well, I guess I better come back on a weekend evening. Gotta find out about those brats. Come on, hello, come on. How far are you going? Oh, now you turn. There we go. When I was running around trying to outrun the trains, I got overheated. Phew. Anyway, please take this. Flame charge TM? That is weirdly late for that one. Would have been useful to quite a few Pokemon, I think, a while ago, but not so much now. Definitely nobody on my team wants it. I wonder whether Cobalion can learn Flame Charge. You know what? That's the one that I'll humor. It's probably not worth it, but I'll humor it. But yeah, Flame Charge feels like a TM that should have been earlier in the game, although it is a nice touch that it's given by an NPC who is running around on the bridge. Cobalion can't learn it. Chandelure can, but why? Cobalion is running around, or a trainer is running around on the bridge trying to outrun the trains and get fast. That's a nice touch. And look who that is in the distance. Not hard to recognize even all the way back here. You can just see his hair. Not hard to recognize at all as we get closer. I don't really think this was necessary, by the way. ... Come. What did it look like I was doing for most of the way there before you popped up right at the end? Always with Team Plasma, always this, aha, we're manipulating your path, because they just show up on the path I'm already on. Give me a break. Gets us. We brought the one you wanted. These guys are they're like quiet quitting. These guys are just pretending to work. Excellent. It seems that you have obtained the Lightstone. I congratulate you on a job well done. It is my Lord N's thought that the two holders of the legendary Pokemon should put their beliefs on the line and strive to find which is the true hero. This is not necessary, however. From his infancy, I provided him with the education required to become the hero of legend. Indeed, he has been so acknowledged by the legendary Pokemon. Such purity of purpose is his. The liberation of Pokemon of which Team Plasma speaks, is the separation of Pokemon from foolish people. That's the truth. All trainers will become helpless to resist us. We alone will be able to use Pokemon. The preparations are complete. When my perfect plan is set in motion, first a few gullible Pokemon trainers who are unable to resist Team Plasma will release their Pokemon. Then that number will become 100, then 1,000. In no time, even the gym leaders and the champion will become unable to fight us. Having a Pokemon will be considered a bad thing. Even people like the sad little Bianca, whose Pokemon was stolen in Castelia, will be unable to face public opinion and will release their Pokemon. That's the kind of world we'll make. You may have the stone, but there's no chance whatsoever that the legendary Pokemon will accept you as the hero. So, if you're not willing to hand over your precious Pokemon, I suggest you search for some courage, because you're going to need it. Alright. Alright, buddy. Yeah. He's maybe starting to let some things slip a little bit there. I guess only Team Plasma will have Pokemon, no one will be able to resist us is actually pretty consistent, because somebody has to enforce the separation of people and Pokemon that they want to create, so it would make sense it would be them. But already it does sound a little bit different from what they were saying earlier. What I say, I mean what Team Plasma says. Arguably a small slip that he's the mastermind behind Team Plasma. And not just, you know, N's advisor. And public-facing speech guy. I mean, or it's just his ego slipping out. And yeah, pretty clear there that he can't directly say, hey, N, we're not going to do the battle, because nominally N is in charge. But he doesn't want the battle to happen. But he's feeling good right now because Reshiram has not popped out of the Lightstone, and so he thinks that the battle isn't going to happen anyway. He, you know, N is his perfect, Getsus thinks he's a perfect person. N is his perfect little project that he created to carry out his vision. He wouldn't see the qualities of the hero in the player character, right? Because the player character isn't himself. Well, Getsus knows he's not the hero, even as he thinks he's perfect. But the player character is not under his control. Not shaped by him. So of course, when Reshiram doesn't pop out of Lightstone immediately, Getsus says, "Oh, of course, you're not worthy. No wonder you're not the hero. The battle's never going to happen. Everything's fine." Although maybe he's still trying to discourage me a little bit there, just to cover his bases. Phew, I tried a little too hard. I bought way too much at Shopping Mall 9. Route 9 is a lot of trainers for such a short route. If there is a place where people can ride, similar people tend to gather. I forgot about Shopping Mall 9. Guess we'll check that out. Feels like it must be one of the less interesting shopping centers in the series, because I did kind of forget about it. I'm gonna move Moncton back to the front of the party. Give Toronto a bit of a rest. I did not move forward there. It happened automatically. Stepped out of the thing. I mean, I stepped through the door myself, but then there was no input for the next step. Took one step out of there automatically to interact with this guy. The pitcher throws his first pitch, and it's fling. Another nice little way of sort of integrating what the TM does into the way that you get it, huh? But a TM that's not very useful for me. We'll just throw a TM fling. You can throw an item to do damage to the target, and the target damage changes depending on what you throw. A lot of the TMs lately have not been very useful, although I did find Shadow Ball in this episode. Thunderbolt was last episode. There's some other good ones yet to be found. So it's a mixed bag. Some of these TMs seem like they maybe should have come up earlier, and no wonder, I guess, that it started. We saw a little bit with the Battle Subway already, but after this, the games are going to lean a little bit more into making some of those mid-power TMs like Facade and Flame Charge all kind of purchasable in one place, somewhere in the early to middle game, instead of scattering them around and ending up with kind of weird distributions on some of them. Not that Game Freak is going to solve weird TM distributions from here, because as I've talked about before, Scald is bizarrely early in Sun and Moon, and then fixed in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, but Scald in Sun and Moon is maybe the weirdest TM distribution I've ever seen. Arguably the best water type attack in the game, and you get the TM at the second trial site. So there's still going to be some bugs to work out, but yeah, it makes sense that they're already doing it a little, but increasingly after these games they consolidate some of the. Of course, TMs will be reworked in Gens 8 and 9 anyway, but increasingly after these games, over the next couple generations, they consolidate some of those middle power TMs in one spot that is at a reasonable place in the game progression. Do you want to pass through here? Then you must greet me. Okay. Where's Charles? Why isn't Charles hanging out here? I want to battle Charles. I haven't done a rotation battle in so long. There was Charles, and then there was like one other, which actually I think was not super long ago. But I haven't done very many rotation battles is the point. Bring back Charles. Anyway, back to one-shotting things with acrobatics. I should take the experience share away from Steinbach soon. There's just not anybody I especially want to give it to right now, so I'm not in a rush. You! What great strength you have. For a child like you, a bicycle is just right. It is healthier, isn't it? Oh, I could get on my bicycle to fit in here. I kind of forgot I have one. I've never used it. There we go. Do I match the vibe of the route a little more? If I win, give me your Pokemon. What are you, Team Rocket? That's not even Team Plasma. Because this guy's not dressed as a knight and pretending to be good. We just got straight up Pokemon thieves in this region. This guy should join Team Plasma, get some cover for what he's doing. Maybe he just doesn't fit their aesthetic. as, you know, they try to have better PR than that. Trying to see Garbodor a bit more often, huh? Guess it would be an obvious Pokemon to see in a route like this. Weak armor, okay. Already dropped the speed. No para, please. Oh man, I asked nicely and everything. No big deal though. That was just a joke. You didn't have to take it so seriously. Okay, troll. Bah! I haven't fallen so low that I would steal somebody's Pokemon like Team Plasma. Whoa, my bad. I didn't realize it was so insulting to compare you to Team Plasma. Can we just acknowledge again? For all that opening scene seemed to set a tone where people were kind of conflicted about Team Plasma and it seemed like they might get some traction with their PR blitz. After Accumulatown, almost everyone in the region has been firmly against Team Plasma and their values, to the point where it's a little bit weird, a little bit hard to see how Team Plasma got traction. Which, again, is not an original criticism. I've heard it from another YouTuber somewhere. But I do think they have a point. I honestly don't remember who it was. Maybe I'll see if I can find it and give them proper credit. It's just a video I watched a while ago. But even this guy, who I guess was just trolling, although how am I supposed to know that? Give me a break. This is the problem with trolling sometimes. He's like, come on, obviously I'm better than Team Plasma. Accumulatown was not representative of their PR, I guess. But because it set the tone early, a lot of us sort of internalized that it was how a lot of characters in the region perceived them. It just hasn't held up when I've actually taken a closer look. So that's kind of odd. Oh, is this a multi-battle? I don't know what's second in my party. Oh, I think it's Steinbeck. That's fine. Hey, hey, what have we here, boys? You have good Pokemon? Let me see. Hey, hey, a bad one teamed up with another bad one. You know what it means? That means we are very bad. Oh, are you gonna steal my Pokemon? Bad plus bad equals very bad. The math checks out and would approve of that formula, I think. Flying weak plus flying weak equals very flying weak, though. One. Two. GG. Good Pokemon. To be honest, they're dazzling. What? Even bad men like us can be friends. What a great thing. Friendship between men and friendship with Pokemon. These guys are not so bad, huh? Again, even these guys are spouting, like, the core values of the region and the story. People from diverse backgrounds and worldviews and all that stuff I keep saying. Coming together and finding community. Even these guys are doing it. Where is Team Plasma's PR? Team Plasma are just a criminal organization. There's with like a coat of paint slapped on it that is rapidly peeling off. As much as I'm praising the story for having more nuance than the typical Pokemon game, that part doesn't hold up too well under scrutiny. Although, like, again, the story wants... We are supposed to understand that Team Plasma are in the wrong, so, like, they probably can't go too far spreading sympathy through the region for them either. Because we are supposed to take away from this exploration of sort of the core premise of the series that the relationship is good for people and Pokemon alike. It is good that we see examples throughout the story of how that mutual benefit takes place. We have NPCs talk to us about Pokemon in their lives and what it means for everyone and so on. That's all good. The story is not supposed to leave ambiguous who's right and wrong here. In broad strokes. At the same time, it's pushing that things aren't always black and white, right? But it's not... It is pushing that things are not always black and white, but it is not at the same time telling us that that means nobody's right and everything is relative and unclear. We are supposed to have some opinions on some things, and it is steering us toward particular opinions. It just feels a little heavy-handed sometimes. Because who supports Team Plasma at this point? Maybe Accumula Town is just a really sleepy place where nobody knows what's going on in the rest of the region, so we watch them hear of Team Plasma for the first time and go, huh, I am hearing of this for the first time and I don't know what to make of it yet. That seems to be what that scene was. It's not that big a deal. I don't know, like I said, it's a little bit... It does come across as a little bit of a weakness in the writing, but I think it would be at least a little bit tricky to fix without opening up other issues in the writing, so... I mean, ultimately, I think the writers understood what their priorities were, and maybe they were a little bit heavy-handed in pursuing those priorities at the expense of other things that could have added more depth to the story. But I guess it's better than getting their priorities wrong. It's not the greatest writing in the world, it's still relatively good for Pokemon. And it's still a vibrant region with a lot of different people living different lives, and all of them opening up windows into how those lives intersect with Pokemon, which is ultimately very neat, and great stuff to see in a series like this. Yeah, ultimately a very valuable add to the series, even if it's a little bit clunky and off balance at times. Heh, nobody can beat my speed and fury. This guy's not talking about stealing or how bad he is. He's just having fun. Heh. Is this the first Ponyo to play through? I think there probably was another one at some point, right? But I can't place one. Oh, does it have Defiant in this game? Well, we're not going to find out. But yeah, I might have regretted that speed drop if it hadn't KO'd. Oh, he just called himself a loser. Ah, I wish I could fly down a much bigger road. The Pokemon would be happy too. Well, what is stopping you, my friend? You have that motorcycle? It's a wide open region. Go explore. Join our team. Actually, I will force you to join our team. What team? You're just trolling. You just have a Scraggy. There's no team. You just have a Scraggy. Probably join our gang in the original Japanese, right? And they just kept with the tradition of translating gang to team, as in Rocket Gang, Team Rocket, and so on. Our team doesn't need a trainer who's quite that strong. I'm a little much for your team. We're cool. We hang out here every day. You know, I make fun of these guys, but ultimately, they're having fun, and they don't really seem to be hurting anyone. Unless this guy would have sung a different tune if he'd actually won the battle. Again, it does add to sort of the vibrant diversity of the region that there's a place like this where these guys are, I think for the most part, just having fun. It's nice. It's a pretty simple route, kind of forgettable, but nice to have included. Shopping Mall 9, colorful and wonderful. I don't really remember Shopping Mall 9, but we'll see how it is. It does look pretty colorful. It's called 9 because it's on Route 9. I was able to figure that one out. You probably were too. You can remember it by thinking of this. Done shopping? 9! Funny bilingual joke there. There are even some people in the mall who will challenge you to battles. Oh, let's see. Oh, found one. Welcome. Would you like a cold drink with your Pokemon battle? That didn't take long. I don't remember Shopping Mall 9. I don't know if I found Waitress Flo in my first playthrough. I feel like I must have, because I do explore things and read things. I've definitely entered this building before, but... I mean, we have found an area in this episode that I don't think I'd ever gone to before, but I definitely entered this building before, but I did not remember this. I think maybe I just saw a shopping mall, interpreted it as being kind of like the department stores in past games, went to check what was for sale. I was usually going around talking to all the NPCs on a first playthrough, when I first played through this game, but I'm not certain that I did that here. Maybe I cut corners. I don't know. I don't remember. Invigorating soda pop for exhausted Pokemon after a battle. Available in any vending machine. Alright, nice pitch. On the first floor they sell medicines. The second floor they sell TMs. Interesting. And different kinds of mail. Third floor, items for raising stats and battle items. I really admire Mr. Clyde, the Pokemon gym guide, so I'm practicing being a guide too. You gonna give me a fresh water? No? Just guidance? No fresh water? You gotta do better than that. Fresh water is like Mr. Clyde's whole thing. Good trainers never use only brute force. They think about many different strategies, such as which Pokemon and moves to use in battle or the best time to use an item. True. The item thing doesn't translate to competitive play, but otherwise true. Medicines. Oh, I do need more repels. Let's buy some max repels. Apparently I have one already. Let's just go nuts and buy 49 max repels, bringing me to a total of 50. Probably never use all those up, but that's good. I don't want to run out. Have you heard there's a cave along Route 9? I don't know exactly where it is or what it's in it, though. Yeah, there's a Champion Cave, kind of the unknown dungeon of this game, but without a legendary in it. I think I must have explored that on my first playthrough, but again, I don't remember it at all. I don't actually think it's very interesting, but we'll check it out after the league, and I could be mistaken. I definitely could. This guy's selling balls and mail. What kind of mail we got here? Favored. RSVP, thanks. Inquiry, like, reply. Okay, weird. I think I prefer, you know, more Pokemon-themed mail. Not that mail is of much interest anyway. Playing hide and seek would be fun. Well, I can't see where you are right now. You could be anywhere. I come shop at the shopping mall. I think it's grammatically fine. It's just awkward to me. I come shop at the shopping mall a lot because I want all the TMs. Like I'd probably say I come and shop or I come to shop, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think his speech pattern just doesn't match mine, but that felt weird coming out of my mouth. I am a rich boy, so I have a great Pokemon. I don't think that follows. You probably have some great full restores in your bag or something. It's a Liepard, okay. What, you don't also have a Watchog? You're a rich boy. How do you not at least have a Watchog to go with your Liepard? Their Team Plasma Grunt's better than you. At training, I mean. They're not better people, I'm sure. I'm a rich boy. Even though I lost, I'm not frustrated. Bah! You tell yourself what you want. I will go on a shopping spree to make myself feel better. That I believe. Oh, okay. 2 TMs. Not especially interested in them. Should I buy Hyper Beam and teach it to Reshiram when the time comes? Let's just do it. I know N Zekrom is going to know Giga Impact. I guess that means N comes through here. Has come through here already, probably. Oh, another battle. Even when I am resting from too much shopping, I'm willing to battle. That TM was expensive. That was not a great use of my money, was it? But we'll just have to click Hyper Beam with Reshiram at some point. Stoutland is a bit more impressive than a Liepard. Does it have Intimidate, though? Oh, it does. Alright, I'll switch. Yeah, that's Lenore's TM. That's what they want you spamming in this game instead of Facade, I guess. I do prefer Facade, though. Because there are a lot of status problems running around in an in-game playthrough. Did she just say she's still the one to beat in shopping competitions? I'm very rich, but even I am pleased with the selection at the shopping mall. I want to buy more. I'm a waiter who's good at Pokemon battles. It is interesting. Really says something, I guess, about the appeal of this mall that is drawing in all these silly rich people on a route full of roughnecks. They just really want to shop here, I guess, huh? Or this is just a nice, idealized region where people are not worried about such things when they choose where to go. It's not like the people outside are hardcore criminals like Team Plasma. Wonderful battle. Learning experience. Our specialty is the best Pokemon battles. Oh, that's it? Okay. I thought this guy was going to battle too, the way things are going. Hey, Pokemon trainer, do you know about an item called the Thunderstone? I do. So you know Thunderstones make certain Pokemon evolve then? Nice. There are 2 eyes. Nice. Meeting here must be fate. This is for you, a Thunderstone. That would be nice if I had an Electric. I heard a Pokemon called Electric evolves with the Thunderstone. See, we're on the same page. The thing I buy most often is the item that raises a Pokemon's HP, called HP Up. There are also a lot of other items that catch my eye. Great. Cool story. What do you sell? HP Up? What do you sell? Probably X items? Yeah. Alright. Why do you look like a cafe if you're selling vitamins and supplements? Thought I'd be able to get coffee. Let's take the big middle staircase directly down, skipping the 2nd floor. Look at that big staircase. But I didn't miss there's a door over here. Let's see what this is about. This mountain of cardboard. They're all full of electronics we can't sell anymore. They're just going to waste. I wonder if someone could put them to good use. Oh, this is where you get Rotom forms. I actually think I did come here with a Rotom at some point back in the day. This must be where you get the machines to change Rotom's form. Full of cardboard boxes with electrical appliances in them. Yeah, I know a Pokemon that's good with electrical appliances, but I don't have one on hand. But okay. I'm sure I made that one specific use of Shopping Mall 9 at some point. Anyway, I don't know if I would say colorful and wonderful, but this is a nice enough spot. I spent certainly more money than I intended or was reasonable. I do not have my Route 9 encounter yet. This is it. It's a Ponyard. That's cool, Pokemon. Theme of the episode. Under different circumstances, I would strongly consider training this. However, I am too focused in on the team that I have right now. Also, I already have a Dark type and a Steel type, and I'm happy to keep both of them. We stay missing our Will-O-Wisps. This time only missed 2 in a row. But that's what, now 2 for 7? Landing Will-O-Wisps this episode? Maybe there was maybe I first tried one earlier at some point and forgot. But we had a 3 misses in a row, now a 2 misses in a row. The other thing, of course, with Ponyard is we are now at the point where some of these late-game Pokemon have evolved forms, but because this is Gen 5, they evolve at crazy late levels. You can probably get a Bisharp before the end of the playthrough. But again, if you're catching a Vullaby or a Dino, you might finish the whole playthrough with that in your team and not fully evolve it, which makes it feel a little bit worse as an option. Ponyard is the early end of starting to worry about that effect. Of course, there's no King Gambit in this game, but even just getting a Bisharp would take a while. Blades comprises Pokemon's entire body. If battling dulls the blades, it sharpens them on stones by the river. His name is Kelowna, I guess. Maybe I should have named something North Vancouver. Kind of wild that that's the name of a separate municipality in calendar year 2025. You know, I was a young kid when the 6 municipalities in metropolitan Toronto got amalgamated into the city of Toronto. I live in another big amalgamated area now. But that never came for Vancouver so far. Only strong Pokemon live in this cave. The champion occasionally goes in for training, but you aren't ready for this challenge. Alright, I'm not sure whether I have to become the champion to go in. Because remember, the first time you beat the League, first time you beat the Elite Four in this game, the first game clear, as it's called in the Hall of Fame, you do not become the champion. You could say maybe it's a bit of a gray area because N beats Alder and then you beat N, but you don't actually become the champion in this game until the League rematch when you actually do get to battle Alder without Team Plasma interfering. So I'm not sure whether, like, after I've watched the credits, I'm still not sure whether I'll be able to get into the cave or whether I'll have to still go beat Alder and actually become champion. We'll find out. We can definitely check on that as long as I don't forget. And it's Opelucid City time. Munch munch. I'm sure that's what that sounds like. Munch munch. Me when I'm having a snack. Munch munch. I heard that a guy with a legendary Pokemon was visiting Opelucid City. Munch munch. Welcome to Opelucid City, where people like changes. Have you heard this before? Opelucid City, of course. Big, where latest Pokeballs are developed. Big version differences. Buildings you see the art materials in black. It's a futuristic city. In white, it's a very unfuturistic city, kind of old school looking. I wonder whether this line is different in white. I don't actually know. But it would fit. That it would be different. Of course, people in Opelucid City are living their lives just fine either way. As previously discussed, yes, the world always changes. That's not an inherently good or bad thing. But in this version, change looks like this. Time's dividing line. Sounds nice. Don't know what it's supposed to mean. Probably just an allusion to version differences. Very different city design in white. I mean, layout's basically the same, but it looks very different. Hello, Black, this way. And just as I was saying that apparently these are not really accomplishing anything, it's time to actually see one of them again. Maybe we'll get a different view of things. Gets us. What a liar. Desperately trying to con everyone with his speech. Oh, and look who's standing off to the side watching. That's correct. Okay, that is a funny transition. Obviously, he's engaged with the crowd. He's not listening to Alder. Alder is like speaking under his breath to me, but it is funny that Alder is like, what a liar, desperately trying to con the crowd. And then the next line is Getza saying, that's correct. He's not actually responding to Alder, but it's funny. It's a funny connection there. Our Lord N has combined his power with the legendary Dragon-type Pokemon. This is what he's announcing, that he's saying is correct, obviously. And intends to create a new world. We herald the return of the hero of Unova, founder of the region. Hero? Dragon? Legend! Pokemon are different from people. They are living beings who contain unknown potential. Infinity energy, you could call it. They are living beings from whom we humans have much to learn. They are beings whose greatness we should acknowledge. Beings who should be freed from our oppression. Of course, Pokemon, the potential of Pokemon and how to draw it out is going to be a plot point in Black 2 and White 2, but we're not touching on that here. It's just the throwaway line from Getsus for now. Freed? Pokemon? We, Team Plasma, invite you to join us. We all want to create a new world where people and Pokemon are both free. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you now, please release your Pokemon. And so I end my plea to you today. Thank you one and all for your attention. They're gonna grab the banners, they're gonna do their silly formation. That guy has to go to the back. And they're out. Is it true? Going toward the league, of course. Have we been making Pokemon suffer? Maybe we should release our Pokemon like Team Plasma says. No way! Without Pokemon, I'll be lonely and sad. Okay. Obviously, this is different from the first Getsu speech we saw, because N has joined up with Zekrom now. So, he's making the big PR push that he was going for all this time. Our leader is the hero of legend. Implication, you know he's in the right. So the speech is going to land a bit harder. That's the whole point of that plan. But we spent a lot of time now with a lot of people all over the region saying things that are completely antithetical to what Team Plasma talks about. And now all of a sudden can get in front of a crowd in a bigger city, much more central than Accumula Town, not some sleepy out of the way place. Especially in this version where it's a bustling, futuristic city. Not bustling, but like people are probably more in the know about what's going on around the region here, and still the people in the crowd are like, "What? Is what he's saying true? Should we take this seriously?" I mean, I guess maybe I'm underrating the power of, you know, a charismatic voice speaking to a crowd. To some extent, Getsus is just a, you know, disruptive force coming into people's lives that, as we see, they're mostly actually pretty happy with. But he manipulates the crowd and gets them riled up. That makes sense, I guess, in propaganda terms. Maybe that analogy doesn't carry over too well to real life, but maybe we could imagine it kind of sounds a little bit like someone. But obviously, but yeah, okay. We haven't seen one of his speeches in a while. I guess they can have some effect. I guess it's reasonable that they can have some effect even in a region where most people, when he's not speaking right in front of them, do not seem interested in what he has to say. And obviously these people were kind of confused, conflicted, split. They're not all just like readily embracing what he was saying, but let's take a little bit more of the PR there. And not in a way that portrays him as actually being in the right, but gives a little bit more reason to think that Team Plasma has a chance of succeeding if nobody steps up and stops them, especially now that N having teamed up with Zekrom is part of their shtick. What was that about? That speech was off the charts strange. That's true. Can't deny that. Cooperation of people and Pokemon is how Unova came to exist to begin with. If a Pokemon really didn't want anything to do with humans, it would simply leave. Capturing a Pokemon in a Pokeball doesn't mean you've captured his heart. This was a big reveal for a lot of people back then. That Pokemon apparently can just leave if you've caught them. Makes you wonder then, once the ball stops shaking and clicks shut, what is it that happens with the Pokemon? Probably the simple answer, right, is that Pokemon is... I mean, the game sort of vary in how intelligent they portray Pokemon as being, but animalistic-ish creatures are like sufficiently impressed by being subdued by the Pokeball that they'll take a moment and listen to the trainer at least. But then I guess the implication is eventually they might leave. Or maybe it's just like a social contract thing. Although again, are Pokemon really like beings at the level of intelligence and like sentience and agency that they can have a social contract? I don't know. I'm overthinking a quick bit of padding onto the themes of the game to really drive home that no, this relationship is actually mutually beneficial, we swear. But yeah, there's just like an implied understanding, I guess, that if you sufficiently impose your will on Pokemon within the proper normal rules of how to do it, the Pokemon will go along with it. But in theory, they could leave if things were not on the level, but there may be like very specific ways, problems that they would have that wish they would do it. Very quickly, this just circles back to I'm overthinking it. Let's go, Black. It's been a while, Iris and Drayden. Oh, Mr. Alder, and the guy who helped out that time. That's me. I'm the guy who helped out that time. What's wrong? What does the Wandering Champion who left the Pokemon League need from us? The guy who helped out that time and the Wandering Champion who left the Pokemon League. Those might as well be our names, huh? Briefly, my request is this. Tell us about the legendary Dragon-type Pokemon. Are you talking about Zekrom or Reshiram? What's the sudden interest? Moments ago, a troublemaker known as Getsus was here. He said a trainer named N has reawakened Zekrom. I guess Iris just wasn't listening to the speech, but Drayden has to fill her in on why we would bring that up when Getsus was just talking about it. Iris kind of zoned out. I mean, she's young. Yes. That trainer called N apparently told Black here to search for the other Dragon-type Pokemon. Let me check that I have this straight. This N, or what have you, presumes to set the two Dragon-type Pokemon against each other in battle to test his convictions? N, or whatever his name is. Can't really blame Drayden for having some trouble with that one. Of course, it doesn't help when you learn N's full name, which Game Freak did reveal at some point. Oh no! The Dragon-type Pokemon get along so well. That's right, Iris. The ones who make Pokemon battles are the trainers. The ones who make Pokemon battle are the trainers. And so it's so the trainers and the Pokemon can get to know each other better. I'm going to the Pokemon League. No, I guess in this case I should say I'm returning to the Pokemon League. Of course I'll defeat N. That's not what Getsus said. I'll teach him about the beauty of this world, where Pokemon and trainers live together in harmony. Also, Black, I'll await your arrival. Once you've obtained the Opelucid badge, come to the League. The Opelucid gym leader is tough. Take care. Farewell. I'm counting on you, Drayden and Iris. Aw, he's gone. Is he okay? He looks kind of scary. Ooh, Alder got serious. As he should. This is the time for Alder. We've seen Alder goofing off at times. Obviously, there's, semi-hidden backstory there. He suffered a great loss, but also he gets some real value, clearly, out of exploring the region and seeing what it has to offer. But this is the time for a guy like him to get serious. This is the time that anyone in his position should get serious. Things are serious here. Plasma is a real threat to the wonderful makeup of the region. I wish I believed that Alder would defeat them. He deserves to, but Chosen Hero battles call for chosen heroes. Don't worry, Iris. He is the strongest trainer in all of Unova. Well, Black is it? Come to my home. As Alder asked, I'll tell you everything I can about the legendary Dragon-type Pokemon. Iris, child, please show the way. You bet. If it's Opelucid City, I can take you anywhere. As for the story of Zekrom and Reshiram, we'll tell you all we know about it. This way. That way. Now, I talked about version differences in Opelucid City. Of course, the gym leader is a version difference as well, and we can see already very different personalities for the two of them, even if they have pretty much identical teams. Iris is very childish because she is a child. She's a nice character. Just very childish because child. Drayden is, of course, the stern mayor of the city, much older. Very serious and knowledgeable about what's going on. Iris is knowledgeable too in her own way, but like the bigger picture politics are lost on a child a little bit. Interestingly, then, it's Drayden, the old man, who is the gym leader in Futuristic City Black, and Iris, the young girl, who is the gym leader in Dreamy Retro City White. I don't know. Guess I don't know what I make of that. Maybe an interesting little juxtaposition. Maybe there's not really anything to make of it at all. But the city for the new generation, gym leader's old. City still living in its history. Gym leader is very young. You could call it a kind of balance, I guess. I mean, there are themes of yin and yang throughout the story in this game. Not a subject I'm especially knowledgeable about, but you could say there's a kind of balance to the character of Opelucid City, and that each version of it has something prominently featured that looks like it belongs more in the other version. Maybe there's something there. I don't know. Of course, in Black 2 and White 2, that does not hold up. Drayden is the gym leader in both versions, and Iris has something else to do, but hey, when this game was new, that game didn't exist. At least in the public eye. Just a little farther. Okay, thanks for the directions. This way, that way, a little farther. I mean, I could tell there's only one way to go here. This is it! Look at those doors in Futuristic version, Black version of Opelucid City. Those doors are really something. They do look like they belong on a spaceship in a sci-fi show, huh? I'll explain. What you were holding is the Lightstone. Reshiram, who will likely awaken from the Lightstone, and Zekrom, who is already awake, were once the same Pokemon. Here we go. Here's the story. Many a Pokemon fan knows this story very well. Perhaps the second most cited? I don't know if I should say popular, but perhaps the one most on the radar, perhaps the legend most on the radar of Pokemon fans other than the two towers of Ecruteak City. That single Dragon-type Pokemon, along with twin heroes, brought a new region into being, and people and Pokemon had happy lives. One day, however, the twin heroes, the older brother who sought truth and the younger brother who sought ideals, began to argue about how to decide which one of them was right. The single Dragon-type Pokemon that had been with them all that time split its body into two. One sided with the older brother, and the other with the younger brother. In its pursuit of ideals, the Black Dragon type sought to usher in a new and better world. Its name was Zekrom. And the other, the White Dragon type Pokemon, sought truth and to usher in a new world, a world of good. Its name was Reshiram. So she kind of said the same thing twice there, right? I mean, truth and ideals, they're invoked kind of interchangeably in a lot of the story because that's necessary for the version difference. But you know what they're going for. But what's interesting is, once again, driving home that they are complementary forces. They can be in conflict with each other, but they don't have to be, and it's best that they not be. She said pretty much the same thing, worded slightly differently about both of them there. The brother who pursued truth wanted to change the world and make it better. The brother who pursued ideals wanted to change the world and make it better. Obviously, ran it into, they disagreed on how to do it, and turned into a fight. And I guess sometimes that happens, but once again, Reshiram and Zekrom, opposing forces, well, in some ways, not, it is, but polar opposite forces in some ways. But they can fight, but they don't have to, and it's best when they don't. And in fact, they're better off working together. His name was Reshiram. Because the two of them were once the same entity, their battle raged endlessly, and neither one could be declared the winner. They simply exhausted themselves. The twin heroes proclaimed that there was no one side that was right, and ceased the conflict. Sometimes it's not always black and white. There will be a winner this time. And you can call that a weakness in the game's writing, that the story demands that there be a winner, but look, if we're allowing for some nuance in the story, I think in a situation like the Reshiram-Zekrom conflict setup, sometimes the outcome they're telling here is the appropriate one, sometimes somebody should win. N has a point, and he comes from a good place, but we are definitely not meant to think that he's in the right. Like, maybe a little bit here and there, but not in the big picture, and even he doesn't think he's in the right at the end. He will change his mind. Whatever the conflict was in the old legend, not so black and white. You could say that the structures of a Pokemon game are kind of making the message a little tricky to drive home because there is going to be a winner, but I think another fair way to look at it is that's the nuance of real life. Sometimes one thing, sometimes the other thing. Sometimes who knows what thing. Reshiram and Zekrom are better off when they don't fight, and sometimes there's not much point to them fighting. But sometimes, even if they shouldn't be fighting, there is still a best outcome. But the two heroes' sons started the battle again, and an instant later, Zekrom and Reshiram destroyed Unova with lightning and fire. Then they disappeared. But if people work with Pokemon the right way, we don't have to worry anymore about the world being destroyed. I mean, Zekrom and Reshiram worked hard for everyone and made a new region. Look at that. They did usher in a new... Well, it was very destructive, and it sounds like the moral is that it wasn't worth it. But new and better things did come out of it all the same. Because time keeps moving on, right? And ideally, people learn things from the past. Hard to have a lot of faith in that these days, but it can happen, and it's a good thing when it does. So it should be alright, I think. True, Pokemon cannot speak. People may hurt Pokemon even more by imposing their selfish thoughts on them. But no matter what, Pokemon and people believe in each other, need each other, and will continue to live together. Yeah! So I'm never going to forgive Team Plasma for trying to separate Pokemon and us. Sorry, we got a little off topic at the end. That is everything we know. Unfortunately, we don't know how to wake up the legendary Pokemon. I made a promise to Alder. You must win the gym badge from the Opelucid City Pokemon Gym. Black, I'll be waiting for your challenge at the Pokemon Gym. Again, Drayden is the gym leader in this version would be Iris and White, and they kind of drove home what I was saying earlier. They just told me a story about a pointless conflict that just ended in destruction with no winner, but they're still taking a side in the current ongoing conflict. As much as it would be nice to say there's no point to fighting ever, or to say it's always clear what side to take, and there always is one right side. Life just isn't that simple, in this game or in real life. Again, kind of a number of nice life lessons in there, woven into the themes of this story. Really good stuff for the kids that are the main target audience of a Pokemon game, I think. Depending on how much of it landed with, I guess. That's hard to say. But, certainly a good effort. Everyone, people and Pokemon can get along and be happy. That's awesome. Also, I don't know if I make anything of Reshiram siding with the younger brother and Zekrom siding, or the older brother and Zekrom siding with the younger one. I think it said they were twins anyway, so older younger is probably not much of a distinction there. I don't know if there's supposed to be any meaning to that. I mean, they said it a couple of times, so it feels like it is something that we were supposed to know. It feels a little bit, honestly, like just like stereotypical thinking, like, oh, younger person, so idealistic. Older person, embracing hard truths. In all honesty, as an older brother myself, I do sometimes perceive things a little bit that way in my own dynamic within my family, but I definitely don't think that's something that really holds up across all of society. It feels a little bit like that's what they're trying to invoke, but I'm not sure that it's really a worthwhile inclusion in the story there. Feels like it kind of narrows the thinking a little bit for not much purpose that I can identify. But you let me know in the comments if you can think of a reason that they made sure that I know that it was the older brother in Reshiram and the younger brother in Zekrom, because I cannot think of something good for the story that comes out of that, at least right now. But if you have something in mind, I'm curious to know it. I'm stumped. Anyway, what are all these people doing in Drayden's house? What's a football player doing here? Concerned about your Pokemon's weight? You don't need to put it on a diet. Just let it hold this. And he gives me a float stone. That, the weight of a Pokemon holding a float stone will be halved. That way you can reduce the damage caused by weight-based moves such as low kick and grass knot. That answered none of my questions. What are you doing? I am coaching Iris, but honestly, she's been stronger than me ever since she came here. Well, that makes sense. What is a football player doing here? Are you buddies with, like, Drayton or something? That's the name of Drayden's grandson from Blueberry Academy, right? He's probably too young at this point for this to be his friend. Are you Drayden's son or another, or a nephew or another grandson? I have an item that I don't know how to use. Would you give it a try and see if you can make it work? Yeah. You may be able to master it. Here it is. Oh, a ring target. That's a tricky one. If Pokemon owns a ring target, it could be hit even by a move that would usually have no effect. For example, a normal type move would hit a ghost type Pokemon. Mastering this item is a bit tough. Actually, it's very tough. But think how useful it could be. Alright, keep your secrets. Thanks for the float stone. Yeah, ring target is a tricky item because it's not really of any benefit on your own Pokemon, right? It just opens up more ways that the opponent can hit you. It's hard to think of any single instance where that's valuable. So probably you want to be using Trick, Switcheroo, something like that. Give it to the opponent, but even then, hard to find a strategy that's very useful for that. Kind of slow. I think there have been formats where Alakazam used it to be, or Mewtwo maybe, used it to be able to hit Tyranitar with Psychic. But even then, probably pretty gimmicky. Our hopes are put into this melody. I will send them to the future. I spent so many happy days training my Pokemon as we grew stronger together. If it will make my beloved Pokemon a perfect being, however, I can't help but let it go. Alright, this guy's deep in the Team Plasma rabbit hole. A perfect being? Where did that come from? I guess you could say it's an inference from what Getz has said about limited potential. Or, sorry, unlimited potential. Misspeaking a lot today. Also, we obviously didn't hear the entire speech, but yeah, that I don't know what that guy's been listening to. You think there are like Team Plasma podcasts out there that take their stuff in even weirder directions? Like, I don't mean official, I mean like Plasma adjacent. Like, you think there's a Team Plasma supporter out there with a podcast that goes a little extra weird with their takes to the point where they kind of sound like nonsense? Your Pokemon will be a perfect being. I imagine that even the exact same person would change a lot by living in a different world. In Opelucid City, you can spend your days in leisure and opulence. Alright, we'll come back to exploring the city, but the reason I just got Montreal, the Boldore, out of the PC is because there is still that strength boulder cutting off a significant chunk of the Moor of Iciris. So I'm going to fly back to Iciris City, That way I can get to the moor without crossing the two-blind bridge again. I do like crossing the bridges in this game, but for something small like this, let's not. Then, see, I know to go this way this time. A little bit more efficient. And then we can fly back to Opelucid, get Red Deer back out of the PC. Red Deer is definitely the ringer. Let me get my max repels, keep them near the top of the bag too. Red Deer is definitely the ringer for the gym battle. And we can explore the rest of the city. There are a couple of rotation battles in Opelucid City, so that's fun. I haven't done a rotation battle in a while. Then we can go to the gym. Yeah, there's a big pool here. I could surf. I'll just go around and get this Ultra Ball. Obviously, there's a faster way across. I'm not sure you can get this in winter when it's icy. Maybe there's an ice puzzle you can do, but I think it might only be. I think it might just only be an option in the other seasons. There's some part of this that I think you can't access when it's icy. I bought new boots, so I came all this way to get them dirty. You're right. If I have a battle, they make it even dirtier. Well, I guess this is a splish-splashing enthusiast right here. With her two Pokemon, Frillish and I'm gonna guess the other gender Frillish. We'll see. You've seen acrobatics, rock slide, and bulldoze in this battle. Do you remember Moncton's fourth move? Actually, I think, or in this video, I mean, and also I think I've actually already used it in this video as well. Never mind. Hard to keep track. Yeah, called that one. Alright, I guess there wasn't that much more to the Moor of Isurus, at least in fall. Splish, splash, splash. Maybe it's this that can't be accessed in winter. Although, could you just... Nope. Because then what? I don't know. That's enough of enough of here. There was nothing about the fire having taken place here. Maybe that's something we mentioned in Black 2, White 2. I do think it's something I remember about that area. And you wouldn't be able to go there in Black 2 and White 2 until post-game, because the whole Isurus City area is cut off until then. Twist Mountain, from Twist Mountain to Two Blind Bridge. And instead you take another windy route around the region that involves Skyla flying you across. So it'd be a post-game Easter egg in those games. Maybe that's what it is. Not 100% sure I remember, but I am sure that I remember that... Yeah, certainly talked to this guy already. Perfect being guy. I'm sure that I remember that there's something at least implying that the Moor of Isurus is where the fire happened. So, have we really been making our Pokemon suffer? Everybody's wondering about that. I wonder if they'll have different dialogue if I come back another time. Like after the gym battle or after the league. Surely they won't still all be talking about this anymore, right? There is something ahead and the road is closed for now. That's the whole excuse? This is worse than the dancing for no reason people. I mean, the dancing for no reason people are a meme. They're a classic. This guy, there is something ahead. All right, thanks for the info. Gotta love a wide open region with some potential for sequence breaking, but also some paths that have to be closed for a while, but that do exist for later. But yeah, I guess at some point they run out of excuses. It's just there is something ahead. If all Pokemon are released, trainers and gym leaders no longer exist. For better or worse, the world will change. I get it. Team Plasma just came through here. Hey! That person called N had the legendary Pokemon with him, so he has to be the legendary hero, right? He's going to change the world, isn't he? Alright, I think that pretty well confirms that this is the big shift in Team Plasma's PR. Most people we've talked to throughout the region, outside of like a quiet little place like Cumula Town, are not buying it. Well, people see the legendary hero. We haven't really heard that much of the legend throughout the story. It feels like a lot of people around the region don't know it, but I guess in this city specifically, people would know it. And Getsus did say that he's going to persuade some people to release their Pokemon, and then over time, more people will be pressured to do it, and public opinion will shift. So this would make sense as a place for him to start with that project if a lot of people here know the legend, because Drayden and Iris and whoever else have kept it very well known. Look at Drayden's house from this angle. Not bad. So yeah, I guess this would be the place to start with a PR blitz like that. So it does actually make sense that we're seeing it have some effect. But I'll see what I can do about it, of course. Your Archeops. Looks like it could try a little harder. Okay, I guess that's where you get the effort ribbon if your Pokemon is fully maxed out on its EVs. That's what that line means, that Moncton is not yet maxed out. Would get an effort ribbon otherwise. The more the city develops, the more futuristic it will become. I'm sure of this. I want to grow up quickly. If I cherished old things, they could have reminded me of old days. I totally forgot what I was like when I was a child. I think I was hoping to grow up quickly. Aw. Aw. The duality of this city. Nice little touch on a region full of dualities that can oppose each other, complement each other. You get it. I've been harping on this for ages. Flat out hours at this point, huh? I want to return to the past. I want to do... It is worth harping on, but maybe I need to... Maybe it could be a little bit more selective. I want to return to the past. I want to do many things over again. My father, Bach, created a machine to see the future. I'm making a machine to connect with the past. But I don't have enough electricity. I've heard that in another world, there's another Opelucid city that looks very old-timey. If there's a Pokemon from that world that knows the move Charge, the machine may work. If you're able, would you be willing to lend me a Pokemon like that? I'm not able. Sorry. Ah, what a pity. There's no other way. By the way, multiverse theory. I mean, that's nothing new in Pokemon. I think a lot of people were sort of awakened to Pokemon multiverse theory in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. When Zinnia opposed the use of infinity energy to basically warp the meteoroid to another world, and talked about her belief in a world without mega evolution that wouldn't be prepared to deal with it. And that was when a lot of people, including me, sort of went, Pokemon Multiverse canon. The old Hoenn games are just in a different universe. But yeah, they did play around with the multiverse with Black and White too. Sorry. Black and White as well. Black and White 2 also as well. I was gonna say maybe it's a little more subtle. I don't know that subtle is really the way to put it. I mean, the Enterlink in particular is pretty on the nose about crossing over between worlds, but yeah. They're definitely embracing different versions or different universes here, which is cool. I heard that my father had a long fight with my grandpa Bach a long, long time ago. This guy wants to do many things over again. I feel like there's something implied there that's pretty sad, given that I'm not able to help him. So sorry about your fight with Bach. I wonder whether Bach appears here in white, and he talks about wanting to see his son's future or something. That would make sense. But I don't know whether it's the case. I could probably look that up. Here's the battle house. The sign says rotation battle, so you read that, you know what's coming. Welcome, glad to see you here at the rotation battle house. As the name suggests, this is the place to enjoy rotation battles. I know how rotation battles work. This is a triple battle house in white, of course, where you run into more triple battles instead of more rotation battles as you do in black. A lot of interesting little version differences this generation. And Opelucid City really hammers a lot of them home. Alright, I can just click acrobatics, I think. Who's rotating in on that? Exactly. Kind of defeating the point of the rotation battle, I guess, but if I can, why not? That said, might as well rotate to Toronto and Leaf Blade this. Although I'm sure an Acrobatics KOs anyway. But we'll use the rotation mechanic once at least. While come from behind when is possible if you're a strong trainer, you can handle the game well. That is the thrill of rotation battles. That's not at all what she said. If you're strong, well, a come from behind when it's possible. If you're a strong trainer, you can handle the game well. So I guess she's saying if you're good at the game, you can get ahead and control it from there and not give up any ground. That was a weird way to say that. I think just a little hard to follow, but I think I got there. Which Pokemon you use? Yes, preparation for battle is very important for rotation battles. Now let's start. Let's start, shall we? I'm down. Let's go. Yanfu, LGM, and Poniards. The Poniard makes me not want to just Acrobatics, but what I can do is go to Steinbach, which is now the highest level Pokemon on my team because I've just never taken away the Lucky Egg so far, and just spam Surf, which is neutral into all of these. And if they give me the Poniard, then we can go back to Acrobatics. It's Manfu this time. Just gets one shot. LGM next. Okay, I forgot that rotation battles mess with your move selection like that. I meant to use Surf there again. It's fine. It is Simple Beam back, no big deal. But yeah, you rotate, and then instead of defaulting to the move you selected, it defaults to the first move slot again after you just rotate it. I've gotten got by that many a time, I'm sure. Now I'm going for... and I do have Air Slash in the first move slot. Now I'm going for Surf. Wipe out the Poniard. Might as well just Surf the LGM as well. Not rotating this one. They say chance favors the prepared mind. I don't think I've heard this saying before, but I understand it. Makes sense. It's time to take the experience share away from Steinbach. I'll give it to Charlottetown. Charlottetown's falling behind a little bit. Not too terribly much, especially since... oh, I have 2 experience shares now. I'm going to have to manage them. Probably try to keep them near the top of the bag. Charlottetown is the Lucky Egg. I'll swap that out. Yeah, I'll just do a straight item swap there. Give that to Steinbach. Accidentally give Steinbach an X defend. Let's fix that. Looped around to the other end of the bag. Yeah, Charlottetown is at level 40, tied with Toronto for lowest on the team right now. Charlottetown obviously can hold its own in a battle, so I'm not really worried, but Steinbach doesn't need all that experience sharing right now. At the highest level on the team at 45. Let's see what the obstacle is here. Is it just there's something ahead? This way leads to Victory Road, but if you don't have 8 badges, you cannot reach the end. Victory Road stands in the way of a challenge to Pokemon League. You need to have some serious skills to get through it. Trembling before the Pokemon League is a tremor of excitement. Okay, so it will let me go here. I'm just not going to get past all the badge check gates. I could go all the way through here, I think, if the game will let me. Hang on. I don't want to. I want to save it for next time. So I am actually just going to look up whether anything stops you instead of going and seeing it for myself, because I just want to save that content for next episode. Because, I mean, there's a Charon battle, right? That probably only happens when you have 8 badges, but they could just let you through the whole thing. And then it's not like you can fly, you can skip it with fly, because you can't actually get to the Pokemon League, so they could just keep the Charon battle the next time you go through there when you do have 8 badges. Or maybe it happens now. I'm not really getting a clear answer from the internet. I think my best guess is I would just not be able to get past the last of the badge check gates. But like I said, that's something that I don't think I want to test in this playthrough. We can leave it a mystery. The battle house, where you can have a rotation battle, is next door. Been there, yeah. Whether or not you were troubled by the Pokemon move attract, take this. Whether or not you were troubled... That's funny. Acknowledging that some people are troubled by it and just going, whatever, who cares, have a Destiny Knot. The Pokemon holding a Destiny Knot is affected by the move Attract. The opponent will also fall in love. It's a bit difficult to use, but it will be useful. And this is really Pokemon blowing past criticism of the series version, huh? On some level. I think it is a good, relatively nuanced story, as I say, but there's an element of that. And that was some funny dialogue for giving me a Destiny Knot. It doesn't matter if we win or lose as long as we have Pokemon with us. Krokorok blocking me in. Very rude of it. You need to have 8 gym badges to challenge the Pokemon League. However, even with such skills, it's hard to defeat the Elite Four who are waiting. Okay. There's the gym. It does look the same in both versions, unlike the rest of the city. Kind of neat, kind of stands out, especially in black. Blends in more in white, but you can see it's been specially preserved here in black. The legendary Pokemon is a symbol of Unova. Does that mean Team Plasma is right? I don't know. I'm gonna have to talk to these people again after the gym, aren't I? Too lonely and sad, but am I only using... Aww. Without Pokemon, I'd be too lonely and sad, but am I only using my Pokemon then? That one kind of hit me for some reason in the gut. That's sad. She's being so kind and thoughtful. Living the way she knows how in this world where... Like, she's probably right, but now doubt's been cast on this. I'm sure she's great to her Pokemon. She seems like someone who would be. What a shame. Not to go beat Getsus in a battle or something to deal with this. If you have a lot of props, it makes you want to put them on Pokemon. If you put props on Pokemon, it makes you want to participate in a musical. Don't you agree? I did a musical once. It was alright. Doesn't really seem very worth repeating, though. It was kind of nice once. 63, 64. Oh, I was counting all the kinds of props for musicals. I think there are about 100 different kinds. I guess with different props, you can at least watch a slightly different show. Still seems like that would lose appeal quickly. But maybe it could be fun more than once. Bro! There we go. Know what? I am a huge musical fan. Oh, you have a prop case. You must be a huge musical fan, too. Would you like a new prop to use in the musical? I am so glad you are also a huge musical fan. You should try putting various props on your Pokemon. That would be fun. Gift box. What kind of prop is that? You know what? I'm a huge musical fan. If you come see me again tomorrow, I'll give you a different prop. We'll see if I remember to do that. Can I look in my prop case and see what I have? Is that a thing? I don't think I've ever tried it. No. It is a key item, but there's nothing to select on it. I selected it, and it just says cancel. There's no other option. Can't look inside. Unless I guess I go do a musical. That I'm not going to do right now. Also, do you think this guy was dodging every attempt to talk to him because he's dancing around, singing, dancing, living a life of whimsy? Guess I can't get too mad at that. This is just between you and me, okay? I'm really not very good as a trainer, so I think Team Plasma might have the right idea when they take Pokemon away from weak trainers. I do feel sorry for the people who were robbed, though. Don't tell the story to the guy on the opposite side. Okay, I'm gonna be charitable, because this sounds a little bit like a, well, if I didn't have a Pokemon, I wouldn't have to feel bad for losing thing. I'm gonna be charitable. I think what this guy is trying to say is, as a weak trainer, I'm not doing right by my Pokemon. I'm unworthy to train them. So it's probably for the best that I not be in a position to train them. If that's what he means, he could be a lot clearer about it. I am stretching a little bit to be charitable to him there. Also, it's still nonsense. Like, never mind the Pokemon can leave thing that was a throwaway line from Drayden or Iris, and I don't know how seriously to take it because the implications are a little hard to puzzle out. But, like, if that's how you feel, you don't have to be a trainer. could leave it up to your Pokemon whether they want to stay with you. But again, that's my charitable interpretation of what he means. I think the writers are trying to give like a thoughtful, nuanced version of someone who's sympathetic to Team Plasma's views, but this guy is not making much sense to me. The one outside who was like, am I just using my Pokemon if I feel better for having them around? That's, I think, a better take on how a nice, thoughtful, reasonable, kind person could end up sympathizing with Team Plasma. I guess this guy's gonna oppose Team Plasma. This is just between you and me, okay? I used to be part of Team Plasma, but it's strange when everyone around you thinks the same way, isn't it? So I left Team Plasma to think for myself about what I want to do. Don't tell the story to the guy on the opposite side. Oh, okay, you know what? That's a little bit more nuance. Nowhere in here did he say that he opposes Team Plasma. Might or might not. No statement on that. But just felt a little bit weird about being in an echo chamber. Hey, that's something a lot of people could have taken something away from in 2010, 2011. Including me, to an extent. I don't think I'm too badly in an echo chamber, but maybe more than is ideal. Drayden the Spartan Mayor. Referring, I think, to how sort of stern and no-nonsense and maybe even how tough he is. We're going to swap Red Deer to the front. I forgot. I was picturing the Black and White 2 gym puzzle. I forgot that it's this one in this game, but it's pretty straightforward. The Dragon Gym in Opelucid City is where tough trainers show they can carve out their own path. Actually, maybe I should swap Monk to the front and save PP for the gym leader on Red Deer, like I did against, like I did with Moose Jaw against the Ice Gym. I think I'll probably make that swap after this battle. Ironhead Flinch? Ooh, Ironhead Flinches would be nice against Drayden, because you know he's going to spam Dragon Tail, because that's his TM. So maybe I don't. I might for sure want to save some Ironhead PP. One Dragon Dance and it's faster? Uh-oh. A little bit of a level jump and power jump in this gym compared to all the level 34-ish stuff leading up to it. As the name suggests, the gym leader is the top. A gym leader is the top of a gym. The leader is top of the heap at this Opelucid gym. Why do so many people in this game word things so weirdly? A leader is top of a gym. Here in this gym in Opelucid City, the leader is top of the heap in the gym. If you want to meet the leader, climb on the dragon, up on the dragon's back and aim for the top floor. That at least explains the puzzle. But why do people word things so weirdly throughout this game? Yeah, used to be part of Team Plasma, got weirded out by everyone thinking the same way, wanted to get out of that environment for a while to think for myself, and no statement whatsoever on what the characters' views are now on Team Plasma and what they do. Good message, sadly buried in a house that a lot of players probably never went into. But, you know, that can be a healthy thing to do, for sure. I don't know. It could be a mixed bag, like most things in life. Anyway. I will tell a trainer who beats me how to move forward in this gym. I know how. Don't worry. Oh, I didn't talk to Gym Guide Clyde, did I? Honestly, I'm not going to backtrack just to do that. I have enough fresh water, I think. I could so easily Sacred Sword through these. Just want to save PP. I doubt it takes an acrobatics either. Probably the first dino of the run. Getting our powerhouse Pokemon, late bloomer, pseudo legendary into the game finally. As we head toward the league, jump from the triangle mark. A triangle mark. When you land on a switch on an arm, the dragon's head will move, and you can move ahead. And of course, as in most generations, that Pokemon is a dragon type. I actually would like to see fewer of them be dragon types. It's been a long time since Tyranitar and Metagross, which I think are the only two that are not dragon types. I get it. It started with Dragonite, hyping up how powerful dragons are. the only fully evolved Dragon-type Pokemon having an unusually high base stat total for a non-legendary Pokemon in that game, but also rare to get and a bunch of work to evolve it. And they've kept that going with other dragons since. There's a reason that dragon types tend on average to have high stats. But, you know me, I like more variety. This is something I talk about in an upcoming video with humanoid starter Pokemon. I don't mind humanoid starters, but I do mind every starter being humanoid. I want more variety. I want something like a Meganium or Torterra again at some point. Likewise with pseudo-legendaries, late bloomers, powerhouse Pokemon, whatever you want to call them. I don't really know what I want to call them. This guy's not really saying anything worth reading. I don't think they need to be dragon types every generation, and at this point I'm kind of tired of it. I'm not saying stop the dragon types, I'm saying maybe give the dragon types a rest, or maybe pull a Gen 3 and have 2 of them in one generation where only one is a dragon type and the other is not. They don't have to do that every generation either, but I think we're due for something like it again. Sometime, you know? And honestly, you kind of get diminishing returns after a while. It's like Pika clones. The early Pika clones were kind of cute. Now, I see a new Pika clone, I'm like, whatever, I've seen a ton of these already. I saw Baxcalibur. Baxcalibur should be awesome. I was just like, oh, I guess this is the pseudo-legendary for this generation. It's a big dragon again. You know, at some point it gets kind of stale, I think. Baxcalibur feels like a Pokemon that I should like a lot more than I do, but I just... It was just kind of bleh to me when I saw it, because I've seen this so many times, and I see this every generation. I think they need to branch out a little bit more with those designs. You know, at least once or twice in the next couple generations, to keep things a little fresh, and then they can go back to spamming dragons for a little while if they want. That's just my opinion. This guy's giving advice on how to move the dragons. I know how to move the dragons. If you don't know how to move the dragons, oh, you're watching me do it now. Anyway. All that said, Hydreigon, you know, Hydreigon is not so long after Metagross, so I wasn't really sweating it. Happy just hanging with Pokemon, do they have to be strong? We'll see which type you are. I wasn't really sweating it when this generation was current. It's not that rant was not super relevant. But the mental association I went through there was, of course Dino starts to show up now because it's the Dragon Gym and all of those things are Dragon types, almost. And they have consistently been for a few generations now, but that was not the case when this game was new. And I don't really... You know, what I said about Baxcalibur, seeing it and going, oh, alright, it's a dragon again. Okay, sure. Which is also a little bit how I felt about Kommo-o. Less about Dragapult because it's a ghost type and that's my favorite type. But I did not have that feeling when I saw Hydreigon, so it doesn't really apply to the fire and fighting starter thing. I was totally on board with that. I could not believe they made a third consecutive fully evolved fire type starter, also a fighting type. That got kind of stale too, but the thing about dragon type pseudo-legendaries being stale, I'm using pseudo-legendary because that's still the commonly accepted term. I'm not a big fan of it. I think it sounds really weird and silly at this point in the series. I think I probably would prefer for something like Powerhouse or... Late Bloomer sounds pretty silly too, but I would prefer for a different term to catch on. It just doesn't look like... This guy's warning may be a little rough on me. I just don't know that one will catch on. So I'll stick with pseudo-legendary for now, but I think that term is antiquated at this point. I think it's past its best before date. I was totally fine. Yeah, so what I said about pseudo-legendaries like Baxcalibur, and honestly Kommo-o to an extent, although at least Kommo-o has kind of a bold, vibrant design, more than Baxcalibur does. Baxcalibur is really the worst offender. Or it's just the most recent of them, and so... You know, there's a bias that kicks in there, if I'm being honest. I know I'm not immune to that kind of bias, but... This took a turn, huh? When I missed the rock slide because I didn't want to take rough skin chip. Oops. Anyway. None of that actually applies to Black and White. Metagross was only 2 generations ago. I saw Hydreigon, and I thought, cool dragon. A little bit weird looking, but that's Pokemon, right? We want to get into the designs. Hydreigon is a little bit weird looking for a cool dragon design, but that's part of what gives it that Pokemon-style charm. It's not one of my favorite Dragon-type pseudo-legendaries. I'd say that's, I'd say Garchomp and Dragonite would rank above it if I were ranking my favorites. But Hydreigon is pretty solid. I like it. I don't mean to be dumping on it here. It's a good Pokemon design. Unfortunately, if you want to train one in this game, you have to wait until Victory Road, and then you'll probably never evolve it past its Phyllis before you finish your playthrough. Whoops. Game Freak goofed a little bit there with the silly... I mean, for pseudo-legendary, maybe you can justify it. Although Pokemon that evolves by level probably should have a more reasonable shot of fully evolving it by the end of the playthrough, right? So you're not just kind of hanging around with an unevolved Pokemon. Maybe grinding, where there's not much left to do. But I don't know, people play Pokemon a lot of different ways, and they do want to make it a, you know, reward that you have to work hard for. I think there's room for a reasonable difference of opinion on this. It's Pokemon like Braviary that are worse offenders for Game Freak. I don't want to take rough skin. Or Game Freak kinda going a little too hard on the crazy Gen 5 evolution levels. But you want to play through the game and use Hydreigon, and you're just doing a playthrough. You're not, you know, it's not like a long-term file that you'll grind away at for some reason or another. You're just doing a playthrough. You want to use Hydreigon. A little bit too high a chance that you're going to be disappointed. That's one knock on, not Hydreigon. It's not Hydreigon's fault, but one knock on the way Hydreigon is implemented in its debut games. I went on this whole rant because honestly these gym trainers are not really saying anything interesting. But what can you do? Foul play again, still not interested. Might as well preserve Steinbach. Not go to the gym leader battle with fainted Pokemon, ideally. Not that I think it'll matter. I don't think Steinbach is contributing much there either way, especially at low HP, but might as well, might as well. Oh, Iris is gonna, or not Iris, Drayden. Drayden is gonna have a Druddigon, isn't he? I can Flash Cannon it, though. I do want to be spamming Iron Head because he'll probably be spamming Dragon Tail, and it would be nice to get flinches and deny the forced switches. Honestly, maybe having some fainted Pokemon that I don't think will be useful there would be beneficial to me anyway, but better to flinch. But I could Flash Cannon the Druddigon, I think. I am a trainer. I don't have to get strong myself. All I can have to do is support Pokemon so that they can fight at their best. Somebody let Chuck know over in Johto. I just sort of enjoy the path you take for this gym, right? The three dragon statues. You do the one on the right, and then you actually make sort of negative progress on the one in the middle, but then it sets up you doing the one on the left so that you can properly do the one in the middle. This loop is a little silly, but, you know, it's making use of the mechanics of the puzzle. I'm not mad at it. So you can properly do the one in the middle, and then finally, that's what takes you to the gym leader. I do like kind of the flow of it. It's a small thing, but it's something that I kind of enjoy. And after doing that slightly silly loop, where again, it's backward progress, but then you just loop around and do it for real, this trainer wonders what I'll do as a trainer. Yeah, then it'll be time for that middle dragon. Here's another dino. The start of the gym from how much I've been talking about it. And honestly, sometimes I forget that Drayden doesn't have its Phyllis on his team because it just feels like a Pokemon that he should have. But I think it's just Fracture, Druddigon, Haxorus. I don't know why they didn't give him its Phyllis. Maybe there's something balance related? Hard to imagine what, though. Night Slash, that's gonna give me a Justified boost. I'll just Sacred Sword this. I'm not too worried about Rough Skin. It'd be nice to avoid, but I'll take this over a 3-hit KO with Flash Cannon in this position. I can always use a potion before battling Drayden, right? I love Pokemon battles. I never know what my opponent will do. It gives me chills. Win or lose, it's the excitement of the fight that counts. Hey, as a VGC player, I kind of know what she's talking about there. Especially when your opponent has some crazy tech you haven't seen before. That's always fun on the ladder. Hey, I brought a Cobalion into this gym. That probably counts as a crazy tech she hasn't seen before. I have to go all the way around because this guy's blocking this path. Back on the middle dragon now. But yeah, bringing a legendary to the gym battle, or gym battles. She's just a gym trainer, or she's not the gym leader. Bringing a legendary to the gym probably constitutes a crazy tech she hasn't seen before. We have 10 years experience battling. I give you a taste of veteran skill. Gonna be honest, kind of thought veterans were older than that, but I mean, I've been playing Pokemon for, I don't know, probably at least 22 years. And I'd be a little put out if they depicted me in game as the veteran trainer class. Not that old yet. Although, I'll need to see her sprite again. I'm not sure veterans look as old in this game as they do in some others. "22 years takes us back to Ruby and Sapphire. That was a pretty conservative estimate. My first game was Silver. And certainly I was playing that before Ruby and Sapphire came out. Point is, I've been playing Pokemon for a lot more than 10 years, and I would not say that my trainer class is veteran, so a little surprised by that number. She doesn't look super old, though. Not like a Gen 6 veteran who actually just look like senior citizens. Getting stronger is like walking down a road that never ends, no matter how much you fight. It's what this Dragon Gym is about. It's the secret of the dragon's backs." Okay. That's cool. Honestly, that's not that different from what Wolf Glick says about how he might be the GOAT of VGC. He's a world champion, but he's always improving and is far better at the game now than he was when he won Worlds. And yet it just keeps going. The journey of improvement never stops, and repeatedly in his content he talks about goals he sets for each season, specific improvements that he works toward, things that he learns even after playing for so long. He's really walking those dragons' backs, just like that NPC talked about, huh? Anyway, here's Drayden. Last battle of the episode. Welcome. Thank you for coming. I am Opelucid Pokemon Gym's leader, Drayden. As the mayor, I've given everything to developing the city. As a trainer, I've simply been pursuing greater strength. But what I'm searching for now is a young trainer who can show me a bright future. I didn't use a potion on Red Deer. That's fine. Perhaps you can show me that future the way Iris has? I believe the player character is a little older than Iris, but yeah, still very young. Still happy to show the future. Still happy to show the truth of what's coming to this region. Light up this gym like a white flame, you could say. That's what I'm here to do. And I brought a legendary Pokemon to help me do it. I think Sacred Sword is slightly stronger than Iron Head. 90 base power instead of 80. That roll seems to support that. There goes Fracture. I'll Flash Cannon this. I might get Dragon Tailed out. It's fine. I can just attack, or Leech Seed, or Will-O-Wisp, or something. Whatever comes in. If it's Archeops, that's not ideal. Actually... Oh, maybe... No. I was gonna say maybe he's not going for Dragon Tail because it's resisted, but so is Chip Away, and it's also not Stab. I don't know what... And Dragon Tail is his TM. Gym leaders love using their TMs. I don't know why he's not going for Dragon Tail here, but that makes this pretty free. We take those. Hyper Potion, alright. Hey, a Flash Cannon drop. Flash Cannon special defense drop would speed this up, but I'm not really sweating it anyway. I've got a pretty broken legendary Pokemon for where it's available in this game. at level 42 ahead of the Ice and Dragon Gems. Of course, you have to go out of your way to get it, and it's a reward for doing that. Oh, Revenge. Okay. That's gonna hurt. That hurt alright. Alright, so much for sweeping with Red Deer. Oh, I have this broken legendary. It's so powerful in this gem. This guy can't handle it at all. Anyway. But yeah, it is very powerful for where you get it in this game. But of course, it rewards you for going out of your way. So, good game design, I think. And it's totally optional. You don't have to use it if you don't want that power. And Cobalion doesn't have crazy broken stats. It's honestly mostly the typing that's been beneficial to me. At this point in this game. Was that a crit? I think it must have been, right? I know Chandelure is strong. I know Chandelure hits way harder than Cobalion does, in fact. I guess this is the ringer in this gem. Here's his last Pokemon. And of course, also, I'm a sucker for having to go into a deep, dark cave off the beaten path to get a legendary. I mean, I grew up on that. My first game was Silver, not even Gold, Silver, to get the cover legendary. I would say I had to figure out how to get through the Whirl Islands, but that's not even true. I know how to do it now, but as a kid, I handed my Game Boy to another kid who knew how. Maybe he had a guidebook, I don't remember. And that's how I got my Lugia. I grew up on going into deep, dark caves to get my... I think he went for Dragon Tail here. Because, of course, negative priority. That's why Haxorus went after Moose Jaw, but that meant Moose Jaw got to knock it out. Didn't have to go to anybody else. So, that's a throw. I grew up on going into deep, dark caves off the beaten path to get my legendaries. I want more of that. I guess the modern version of that in today's Pokemon games, with the way they're designed and the regions are laid out, is something like the Treasures of Ruin. There's not really a deep, dark cave that they can be put into on today's Pokemon maps, but you can at least set up some obstacles with the stakes that open up the shrines. I'm not as into that, but maybe that's the practical version of what I am looking for that actually works in this day and age. If so, I miss the likes of the Whirl Islands and Mistral Cave. Going in a deep, dark cave. It doesn't have to be a cave. It could be like a deep forest or something, right? Whatever fits the Pokemon, but... I mean, that really lent the proper mystery and weight to legendaries. More than most legendaries get now. But again, I think they have different limitations they're working with. But I love that going into a dark cave off the beaten path got me a broken legendary that has the perfect combination of steel and fighting typing to sweep through a lot of this game. Although not Drayden, once he finally showed the revenge. I don't know why he didn't use it immediately. But he flipped the script there. And then I had a Chandelure. But he took down Cobalion. I didn't think he'd manage that. Wonderful. I'm grateful we had a chance to meet and battle. And there's the last badge. Not a bad looking one. Eight badges down, 0 to go. League next time, of course. Well now, you've obtained all of the gym badges in Unova. Now all Pokemon will obediently follow your commands. I also want you to have this. It's a TM I'm particularly fond of. It's called Dragon Tail. I will not be using Dragon Tail, but thank you, Drayden. That negative priority is no-go for me. I like my Pokemon outspeeding things in a playthrough. Dragon Tail is a move that returns the damaged Pokemon to its Pokeball. I mean, I often like my Pokemon outspeeding things in competitive play too. You know what I mean. In other words, it switches your opponent's Pokemon. Now, I have something to ask of you. Head for the Pokemon League and go after Alder. The Pokemon League is past Route 10, which runs from Opelucid City to Victory Road. I know Alder's strength, but I don't know the depths of N's power. Yeah, the depths of N's power. We're going to get a look at that next episode for sure. But, of course, this is where we call it for this one. 8 badges down, getting into the home stretch of this story. The pieces are coming together. Team Plasma are making their moves. We're getting a few more looks at the themes of this game through the lives of a lot of different characters with different viewpoints all over the region. But next time we get into the big picture stuff and have the big clash to determine what kind of new world emerges from this phase of the Unova region's history. See you then.